to Neitz.
Well, Adam Goods will start in the ruck. Underway at the MCG. Goods gets it down. Bolton, first kick of the match. The half forward, O'Loughlin. Bruce with the job on O'Loughlin. Sydney inside attacking 50 for the first time. Hall.
Well, they have to get used to this, I think, Sauce, the Demons. He's going to be too strong. Bizzle, he has it all over Bizzle at the moment physically.
Well, yes, a lot taller, a lot stronger, but great movement here by the Swans. They got the ball out quickly over to Mickey O'Loughlin. That's what the Swans need to do today, because you'd think that Melbourne will flood back, and it's going to be very difficult to find those shorter type passes in these windy conditions.
Well, just the one goal last week for Barry Hall, 56 for the year. Played a lot at centre-half forward. And there's a great look at what confronts him. Kick sliding across the face and missing everything. Well, this is one of the issues, Steve, that's really going to be difficult. We saw it last night with Collingwood and Essendon. Very difficult to kick goals at both ends.
It is, and if you were defender today, you'd be trying to get your fellow or direct opponent to lead towards the boundary line, because it is going to be very difficult to kick goals, as you said, Michael.
It's just so important that they do have their set shots as much as possible out of that corridor. Ferguson's kick still at half forward, the Demons. Thompson off to Whelan. They'll be looking for plenty of run from Matthew Whelan. It's to wing. Kirk slides in. Good mark. No.
Well, Kirk's got the job on. Kirk's got the job on Uze.
So important, as the Demons do, get a little bit of running power. Mark again from Kirk. It's a terrific season. Goods will come at it. The ball drops short. Jude Bolton does well, then slaps it forward, and we'll get a free kick for his trouble. So the ball will come back.
And just off that boundary throw in, Melbourne are dropping a spare man back into the fence. Daniel Ward was the spare man back at that stoppage.
So Jude Bolton, Barry Hall will be the target, and that's where he goes. Hall, the sit, one hand, has got it. Kept Bizzle off the ball, and this is a big problem, and as long as the Swans players keep away from Barry Hall, he will go one-on-one with Bizzle.
It was a great kick, wasn't it? The ball just seemed to carry that extra couple of metres, and Hall was able just to get Bizzle out of position.
Did beautifully in the conditions too, Sauce, to read the ball, which will move in the air. So Barry Hall, repeat performance. Paul Roos will be hoping of his performance 2 weeks ago against the Lions. 5 goals was sensational, best on ground, and it will just drift to the left and get through. Jolly helps it through, minor score. So first score of the game, the Swans are off. They're a point, Demons yet to score.
It's so important that the Swans get a bit out of their opportunities, particularly kicking for goals. When it is winning conditions and you keep missing, you just see the interception.
Well, yes, a chance for the Swans. Creswell hard up against the line. Ward did well just to deflect the football over the line. So a boundary throw in deep in Sydney's attacking zone. Well, it's been all Sydney so far.
Well, it has, and the ball's been inside their 50 for the majority of this couple of minutes in this first quarter.
They haven't been able to score a major yet, though. Hall in front, gets it down. Chance of win, little fumble. Wrapped up by Hall. Was able to get the handball away. Carroll. And that's a good kick. Held his composure. Thompson, half back for the Demons. Kick towards Kurgold. Well done. Robertson leading Bolton to the football. Turns. Neitz on the lead, but going back. That's a great effort from Brad Green.
Good mark.
And Brad Green
has to watch himself here, Neitz. A little bit too aggressive. Melbourne have possession of the football.
Well, it's a big day for Brad Green today. On a very good player in Stewie Maxfield, going back with the flight of the ball. That's courage.
And Neitz just unhappy with Shauble's attention on Brad Green. He's a wonderful talent, Brad Green, no question about that. He's kicked 34 goals this year. And I think eventually, he'd make an outstanding midfielder, used predominantly up forward for the Demons in his 82-game career. But he is a beautiful kick of the football. Comes in and swinging, but he's kicked it. Super stuff from Green. So after Sydney did all the early attacking, Brad Green has kicked the first goal of the match, and what a kick it was in these conditions. To kick those sort of goals, Steve, is a huge bonus.
Yeah, sensational kick, and it's always nice to get a goal early in winning conditions. Of course, if you keep moving, you just start, keep missing, you start thinking about your kicks 4 goals, and it can spread through your team. But on this occasion, Green put it straight through the middle.
So first goal of the game to the Demons, Brad Green, the provider. Good, stayed down. Loose ball, pack of players, shoveled out. Jude Bolton does well, held on to no. Jolly on. So Armstrong joining in, hands off. So a little bit of run from the Demons. Thompson has a player running forward, decides to kick inside 50. That's a good kick. And that was a good mark in the end. Nicholas Smith has taken it on to Uze. 60 from goal. Have to be a decent kick. It is. It goes. It's a goal. What a beauty from Adam Uze. So the Demons have 2 early goals, and that will certainly help their confidence. But have a look at this for a finish.
It was a sensational kick, but great to see the youngster Smith get involved there. Only played a handful of games, but Uze kicking an early goal just lets his direct opponent in Kirk know that he's going to have to work very closely on him.
Great start for Melbourne, and you just wonder whether Sydney may have difficulty handling this fluky breeze at the MCG. Another centre clearance, Bolton towards half forward, Schneider and Whelan fighting hard. Well played, Whelan. Just hacks the ball towards the line. Schneider there first, but Whelan covers him. And it was good defensive play by Matthew Whelan. Steve, that's an interesting thought. I mean, Sydney haven't played a lot at the MCG. The fluky breeze may be difficult for them.
Well, you've got to adapt to difficult conditions, and we saw Sydney take a while up in Sydney last week against Collingwood in the wet conditions. You've got to play direct footy when it is windy.
Godfrey, good smother from Davis. Bolton hard at it as he always is. Now, no real genuine attempt at the base of the pack from Jude Bolton, but umpire Kennedy calls for it. So we'll get a bounce, but an enterprising start by Melbourne as we look at the Sydney Swan interchange bench. Brad Seymour in the foreground. First game for the year. Goods, Kirk ducked ahead. Good umpiring. Umpire Kennedy just motioning there to Brett Kirk that you did duck your head. No free kick coming.
Looks like he did a bit of a hamstring there, Schneider.
Yes, that's a big loss for Sydney. Jolly, Creswell. Pushed in the back, no. Players dive on top of it. So let's have a look at Schneider and just hyperextending there, and that's a hamstring. Yep, there he goes. The right hand on the right hamstring. So that's a big loss for Sydney ahead of the final series. Crouch fighting hard for the Swans, and again another bounce.
Well, pretty tight at the moment, the Demons. Rigoni running with Leo Barry, and the Swans do look to Leo Barry and Kennelly for run-off half-back.
Let's quickly go down to the boundary line for an update on that injury, Andy.
Yeah, he had a bit of a feel for it, Michael, but no trainer's gone out to him at this stage. He stayed on the ground, so we'll keep an eye on him.
So ball's bounced. Jolly towards Sydney's goal. Creswell beaten to it by Jolly. Hands off. Whelan, duck one, hands off. Bolton style it onto Kirk. Chance for Sydney to move forward. Out in front of Creswell, confronted by Ward, hands off, Kennelly. So physically they've been very good, the Demons. Hall out in front, they've got it to about 25 of goal. Crouch dribbles it out, it'll come out to Schneider, and he will kick a goal. That is Sydney's first. Touches coming off half forward, but in the end they pushed to about 20 a goal, and Schneider provides the first.
Well, yeah, it was just great, I guess, harassing football. Just keep moving the ball forward. We saw Barry Hall there, but it's a kick by Crouch, the little kick out. He saw Schneider on his own, got it out to him, and Schneider made the most of his opportunities.
Yes, a great goal to Adam Schneider as we look at it again.
Great little
Snap
kick
over the left shoulder. And, well, we thought for a moment he may have been in trouble with a hamstring, but he seems okay now. Heavy clash against Goods.
Just going back to Schneider's goal, terrific off a step, can find space to be able to finish like that.
Quick handoff. Davis, as we look at the interference against Goods, kick inside, attacking 50. At the back, O'Keefe couldn't take it. Whelan wrapped up by O'Keefe. Somehow got the handball clear. Thompson, well done. Oh, shocking error though from Godfrey. David straight back up to Davis. O'Loughlin, who's dangerous, chips it short Hall.
Well, they heard errors.
Hall plays on and kicks across to Creswell, who's as good as directly in front, only 40 metres from goal.
Well, the error from Godfrey really has hurt his teammates. They were off and running and on an attacking motion. We just see this incident in the centre square there.
Ooh.
It's about the second time he's played flat-footed from the centre bounces, Adam Good, so interesting tactic at the moment.
And there's a replay again. You just see Jolly's eyes, but Goods didn't jump. So, I mean, sometimes it can be difficult. Now, Davis has it now. And an opportunity for Nick Davis, who has played very well in his first season for the Sydney Swans. He's kicked 26 goals. Accuracy has been one of his strengths this year, not on this occasion. He's one person that should be used to the MCG. The one behind only. But what do you do in that situation, Daves? Because the other ruckman doesn't jump, so...
Well, I suppose Jolly's trying to combat Goods' ability to get into the air, so he's trying to get up there first, so Goods is giving him the free run at the moment. Pretty hard to judge in the conditions. Bizzle on a go-to, so Sydney doing their job from this kick-in.
Going long to Jolly.
Though it is long, O'Keefe. Jamar's there, he'll take the mark. So hands off again, so they're running off at all costs, too high in the end. Armstrong just gets his kick to it. No real advantage. I don't think a free was paid. Thompson around the corner, it's inside 50. Neitz will come out, it'll bounce over his head. Shawbull pushed him, sliding out. Williams' support role, that's where they go through Shawbull on the floor. Shocking kick in the end.
There's good pressure by the Melbourne forwards, though.
Very short at the moment, Sydney, with a lot of their touches.
And it was their problem last week against Collingwood. They played that short game, got them in all sorts of trouble early in that particular game.
So James McDonald, one of the demon midfielders, Neitz. This is where they have to get out of the habit of just consistently going to Neitz.
Well, top of the goal square is good enough here.
So it's in long. Players will jump. Oh, Neitz nearly took it. Second bite. Ground level, he has it. He was looking for someone to dish it off to, and in the end, we will get a bounce 25 from the Demon goal.
Yes, got his hand to it, David Neitz. I think Russell Robinson had a bit of it also.
So Jolly and Goods. Goods slaps it, trying to get it away from goal. Barry, Davis is there. Uze, round the corner, free. Oh, poster. Adam Uze started dangerously. 1 goal, 1 for Uze. And the Demons push it out to a 5-point lead.
And this is where the zone defence needs to be working. Windy conditions, there's every chance there's going to be a missed kick.
Williams into the back pocket. Mark taken by Shawbull. Kick out wide. It's okay. Bolton at half back. Delivers very well into the chest of Crouch.
I'd like to see him play through Goods a bit more. Jolly's the man picking up Goods, and I don't think he has the leg power to run with Goods.
Good running by Bolton. He gets it back. Well smothered though by Armstrong. Chance for a turnover here for the Demons. Rigoni in hard.
The pressure's been good early by the Demons.
Certainly has, and Guy Rigoni was a star last week. 31 possessions. Now as we watch the smother again from Armstrong. Underrated part of the game. Jolly. Creswell, little tug on the jumper, no free kick. And again they tie it up on the southern wing. Good start though by Melbourne. They lead by 5 points as we look at the interchange bench of the Sydney Swans. Doyle, Fosdyke, Seymour. The interchange bench, Jolly, Rigoni. Players in hard. Thompson was in hard late. There, fairly according as we look at the Sydney coaching box. Paul Roos, what a wonderful season Sydney have had, and what a great coaching job he's done. As we look at Neil Danaher, his counterpart this afternoon. Godfrey, somehow to Thompson, who was over the line. No, Creswell. Gets it back towards Matthews, who was taken high.
How do you avoid that? Just interesting across half forward. Peter Walsh for the Demons picking up Kennelly.
Off to Davis. Long probing kick towards Hall. He's got the set, Barry Hall. Well played by Carroll. Got his body in front. He worked back on Barry Hall and did it very well.
He did do it well. He knew the ball was going over the back and he had to push back very hard, and he did it to perfection. Got the body in front of Barry Hall.
Hall knocks it down. O'Loughlin's dangerous. Out towards Schneider. Whelan, a little touch was crucial. He got the hold of the football, then left it behind. Ferguson couldn't take it. Schneider takes it over. Adam Schneider, a little scare earlier in the game as he grabbed for his right hamstring, but he seems okay. He's kicked Sydney's only goal of the match. Jolly against Hall. Hall works to the front towards Davis. Godfrey in the way. Gets it clear now. O'Loughlin. Handball in hope. Matthews concedes ground. Williams, dangerous on the run. He normally uses it pretty well. Oh, he just gave Bizzle the opportunity. O'Keefe had to sit and wait, and Bizzle did enough to get it over the boundary line.
Well, he did well there, Bizzle. Just forced his play to lead towards the boundary line.
So inside 50 for the Swans. Still trailing at the moment. Ball will come in. Barry Hall front position, goes over the back. Godfrey hands off in the end. Rigoni through the traffic, hopping and jumping. McDonald. Williams does enough to bring it down, and the ball will just get over the line. So Cameron Bruce with the job on Michael O'Loughlin. McDonald going with Paul Williams, and Thompson with Jude Bolton. That's for starters. Then you have Green on Maxfield. This ball will come in. Benny Matthews has the job on Rigoni, who was very good last week, Rigoni in Perth. Jude Bolton slides it out. Goods. Pretty in close, works pretty good at the moment. Overusing it. Davis to Goods on that left foot. That's a good kick. The supply is inside. They need a mark, and Bizzle is the player to take it. Wrong team. They're off and running to the outer side of the ground. Maud will take a bounce and take the Swans on.
Long kick towards Green, who ran very hard to get on the end of the football. Right foot kick. Robertson and Bolton. Robertson turned him inside out, then left the ball behind. Well played Bolton. He kept at the task. Still they fired on Robertson. Brilliantly done. Still in. Now it's over.
So that's no different to a little bit earlier where Schneider picked up the ball inside 50 with the Swans with players bearing down. Robertson, correct option, bang it down closer to goal. It's 25 out, and that ball sailed 30 metres.
Wasn't pretty book footy, just keep the ball going forward.
McDonald hits it to Robertson. Shovels it out. Bosdyke, Williams, and now Bolton. Jude Bolton from half back for the Swans. Great kick. Roberts Thompson. He's got Bosdyke inside as Barry Hall directs traffic.
Thompson has been very good. Scott Thompson, 6 possessions for the Demons.
Long towards Hall. The back Jolly. That's a good mark.
Did well to drop back there, Jolly.
Off to Armstrong. Oh, look out. Slipped over. Kept his composure. Bizzle. Back towards Bruce, who tried to give it to Armstrong. Now he'll get a free kick. And Melbourne a bit lucky there.
Yes, well, the tackle wasn't executed correctly, but it was good pressure by the Swans forwards just to try and hold the ball inside their forward 50.
So Armstrong just bomb it into the air. Need a mark. Needs positioning himself. Schwab had the sit, slaps it back. Benny Matthews through the traffic. Fosdyke one hand. Was never going to win it. Players again in there. McDonald. Kennelly. What a handball for the Swans. Kirk along the line. McDonald out. What a fumbling. Close in work at the moment. And there will be a free. And advantage paid. So Fosdyke on. Davis not a lot of room. Gives it away. Demons into attack. Rigoni not a good kick. They've got it inside 50. Needs someone coming past. He's got it. Walsh on that right foot. Chance from 30. It'll bounce. Not past Leo Barry. Green took control. I think so poked it away, but Maxfield and mop up.
Did well.
Swans out of danger. Out wide, Kirk will mark. And again, stop-start football for Sydney. Pretty short with their possessions. Not a lot of run at the moment, but they did well to get out of danger.
Yeah, great effort by Leo Barry. He just kept the ball in front of him. It was a rolling ball. Could have gone either way, but got his body behind it.
Brett Kirk, leading tackler for the Swans, 121. He's had a wonderful season.
He's been terrific, Armstrong, this first quarter.
Good mark on the wing. He's got Jolly inside. He uses him. Williams is quick to man the mark.
This is where they need to get the ball into the corridor. At the moment, the Swans are protecting that part of the ground.
Yeah, well, they're going to find it very difficult because the Swans do have numbers back.
McDonald.
Great kick.
Dumps it long to the goal square. Neats going back. Goods was there as well. And Adam Goods, what an athlete he is. Couple of bounces. Now where will he go? To his captain. Fiddling at the moment, the Swans. Fosdyke, Schneider. Now Barry. Back to Goods. Back to Barry. Finally they get out of defence. And what's a poor kick chance for Bizzle. Clean hands. Loads it up and just dumps it back to centre half forward. Fist from Goods. Chance out wide, Shawbook. Sweeping handball, Maxfield. Onto Schneider, and the Swans out of trouble.
They are out in front of O'Keefe. Needs a good bounce. It's down the field. O'Keefe will take it. And at the moment, the Swans are champions of handballing. World champions at that. Out wide to Williams. Controls it around Jolly. No, you are gone, Paul Williams. Great tackle from the big man. Doing a lot of work in defence at the moment. Getting back in support. So Demons through Ferguson on to Bruce, who will take a bounce and take him on. Take another one. Just behind wing, zigzagging, the old 1-2 back to Cameron Bruce, needs to use it and does, and Neats will mark. Pretty wide with this possession, David Neats. Took an almighty kick, but Uze was terrific earlier in the game. Travis Johnson for the Demons just coming on. Off screen as David Neats to line up. That's what he confronts. They'll take an almighty kick, and it's an almighty kick, all right. It is a goal. What a big kick. Well, they've kicked two beauties in this first quarter. One from Uze, one from this man, David Neats. That's a captain's goal, if ever I've seen one, and the Demons have their third of the game.
And it all started from this tackle. Fantastic tackle there by Jolly, and it created the run through the middle. Cameron Bruce was running through the middle, and he was able to spot up David Neats, who kicked the goal from outside 50.
Well, this is such a huge game for Sydney. The opportunity to move into the top four. And the way they're playing, they're not any chance this afternoon. Melbourne are doing it very well. Godfrey fighting hard in the centre, so is Fosdyke for the Swans, and we get a secondary bounce.
Well, James McDonald has job on Paul Williams, and that centre bounce actually ran back to the Melbourne goal square, so they're trying to draw the running power of the Swans away. They have Leo Barry out of the play, they have Kennelly being tagged by Walsh, and now Paul Williams is out of that corridor.
Jolly, it's all Sydney though. Well played. Sunquist, the handball was too slick for Goods. Gets it over to Kressel, good shepherd from Goods. Kicks inside, or towards the attacking 50. Ward did brilliantly. John Davis. And he started well, Daniel Ward, this afternoon.
It'll be pretty hard to find those passes, those 30-40 metre passes in these conditions. The Swans would be probably better trying to go long to the top of the goal square where they do have Barry Hall and try and read it off his hands.
Adam Goods off the ground. Jolly. Uze. Towards half forward, Ferguson or Robertson. Got hands to it, couldn't take it. Bolton shrugs the tackle. Creswell take him down. Ploughs. Gee, I'm impressed with the Melbourne pressure. They're having a real dip.
Yep.
Just off the interchange as well. The Demons have only had one change, 6 to the Swans.
Rigoni searching out wide for Smith. Ball to the back. It's all Sydney. Shawbook, plenty of time. Uses Barry. Hasn't got much on. What running hard is Roberts Thompson. That's the direction the kick takes. Got hands to it, but gee, that was well played by Ward again. Armstrong. Bizzle has to backtrack and backs right into trouble. Luckily not to be penalised. The Swans have a chance.
No doubt he had prior opportunity. No doubt. He's got it there.
Yep. That is an obvious free kick, you would think.
Yep. Terrific pressure from the Demons. 15 tackles in this first quarter. The Swans 10.
Now, interesting situation. We're going to get the boundary umpire to throw it in again because it didn't quite come in the required distance.
Well,
so good umpiring.
Yeah, it is good umpiring.
Maybe he should take a couple of steps in. So Jamar holds off Roberts Thompson. Seymour in the mix. Johnson also there. Both players starting the game on the bench. Crouch over the top of Johnston. Has a job there, I'd say. Travis Johnson, so important for the Demons if they have any chance that he finds a little bit of form. More importantly, a lot of the ball. So players jump in. Jamar with his hand to it through the traffic to Kirk from Crouch. They're inside 50. Barry Hall outmanoeuvred again at ground level. Davis couldn't control it. Matthew Whelan. So Demons have been terrific in defence. Standing start Uze into wing. Back there is Stephen Doyle. Confronted in the end. The big man did well. Put the body on the line. Fosdyke. Possession just overusing at the moment. Handball from Sydney. Williams through the traffic. Seymour onto Kirk. Need to find someone inside 50. O'Loughlin pushing. And he did just that.
Well, the umpire was right on the spot there. Be interesting whether O'Loughlin used his body or used an arm. Well, he did use an arm.
Melbourne out of defence. Whelan, who's been good early. Bizzle assessing his options. Picks out Rigoni, who's played a good opening quarter. Guy Rigoni kick towards half forward. Meets. Fist from Shawble. Counts out wide all. Jamar Handball missed the mark. Great desperate play from Godfrey. Equally well played Kennelly. The Swans away. Roberts Thompson. Sydney a chance. Matthews long to a vacant goal square. Getting back. Well played by Bruce. Somehow he kept it in. Now he's in trouble. Uses Carroll well. He kept his composure in what was a very tight situation. Carroll clears. Still a chance for Sydney. We're close to quarter time. Brown just on the ground. Bizzle. Well, it's quarter time, and well, a great performance by Melbourne in the opening quarter, Steve. As we watch this again, Kennelly and the hit there by Matthew Whelan. It looks like he's okay, but Paul Rue's coming down. But Steve, a game that Sydney must win. Melbourne have done very well.
Well, they did. They got off to a terrific start. They've kicked 3 goals to 1 in that first quarter. I think the Melbourne pressure and their tackling has been outstanding in that first quarter. That Neil Danaher would be delighted with the way his boys have gone about it, but certainly a good start for the Demons. A few concern for the Swans.
Yes, a good opening quarter. Melbourne did extremely well in that opening quarter. Quarter time, the Demons lead by 11 points.
Access all areas with the D's at the G.
Who do you think will be in the grand final this year, mate?
Rosie!
Good answer. He's good, this bloke. He's a champion. I think that's an unfair question to ask me, Steve. We're going to kick there.
Brilliant goal.
DTV, 7:15 tonight.
Go Harvey, go Harvey!
Bring home the big game excitement with Harvey Norman's big screen deals. Save $1,000 on the Samsung 42-inch widescreen rear projection TV with bonus digital set-top box and bonus matching stand. Get the full effect with the Samsung 119cm widescreen rear projection TV with bonus digital set-top box $49.99 and the ultimate larger-than-life widescreen LCD rear projection TV $79.99 with bonus digital set-top box and bonus stand. Score big with these and more hot deals at Harvey Norman now.
Harvey Norman, go!
The National AFL Rising Star recognises the best young footballers playing in the Australian Football League. These are the nominees from the first 6 rounds. Sam Mitchell from Hawthorn, St Luke Ball, Carlton's Trent Spawn, Jared Brennan from Brisbane, Sydney's Adam Schneider and Michael Osborne from the Hawks. The award is part of the National AFL Pathway Program. Who will be the National AFL Rising Star in 2003?
They were jealous of my beauty, furious with my beliefs, resentful of my power. Is it any wonder they tried to erase me from history?
Lost for 3,000 years, rediscovered at last. The truth will not stay buried. This could be the biggest find since King Tut. Nefertiti revealed. A Discovery Channel exclusive. 7th of September at 7:30 on Discovery Sunday.
Everyone knows the Auskick comp for kids. Well, now there's a show just as cool and just for kids. Oz Kicking Around.
Guess what time it is, mate? What time, Dan? That time. What time?
Footy stars. What are you doing? Footy tips.
It's all about stopping your mouth from getting involved.
And here's the best part. The only grown-ups allowed are the ones you want to see.
Oh, not used to again. How are you, fellas?
Luke Power, with a name like that, shouldn't he play for Port Adelaide?
Oz Kicking Around. 6 o'clock Friday.
So a little bit of run from the Demons. Thompson has a player running forward, decides to kick inside 50. That's a good kick. And that was a good mark in the end. Nicholas Smith has taken it on to Uze. 60 from goal. Have to be a decent kick. It is. It goes. It's a goal. What a beauty from Adam Uze.
Yes, a great goal from Adam Uze, and Melbourne lead at quarter time by 11 points. They played some good pressure football in that opening quarter, and Sydney, well, they've got a lot to play for, but at the moment they really aren't showing much, and one of the areas that have really been affected is the wind. Well, more on that in a moment, but tackling hard the Melbourne side, and Sydney overusing the balls. We look at John Longmire talking to Barry Hall just about positioning, and I also suspect Dakes and Sauce just talking about the wind. And let's have a look at the wind affected performance of the Sydney Swans this afternoon. There's one of the early shots by Barry Hall, missing everything, and really they've struggled with the wind, Steve.
Well, they have, and you've got to expect the unexpected in these windy conditions. They've gone to 50-50 options, and we just see the pressure that the Demons also applied onto the Swans was sensational. But Sydney just need to go long and direct, get the ball into their forward 50 as quickly as possible.
Second quarter underway. Big challenge here for the Sydney Swans. Goods and Jolly go at it. At the back, or putting his body on the line, is Bolton, and we get a bounce.
Just like to see the Swans a little bit more running, tuck the ball under the arm and take off. At the moment, the Demons certainly pressuring them. And just for the Demons in that first quarter, they're running and their support of players with possession of football spot on.
Chance for Godfrey. Knocks it out, Thompson. Now Green concedes some ground to Whelan. They still have possession. Carroll, who was good in the opening quarter, got the job on Hall. Thompson. Back to Carroll. Wants to play on. Short option, McDonald. Couldn't quite control the half volley. Carroll. Rigoni just kicks it towards Godfrey at half forward. Good play from Bolton. He ties it up close to the line and eventually over. Let's get down to the boundary line, Andy.
Exactly as you'd been talking about in the first quarter, Sauce. Paul Roos called the Sydney Swans straight into the huddle when they arrived at quarter time, told them to get their heads up, to get their vision right, look straight down the corridor and get the ball in long and direct and quickly. So exactly as you'd been saying in the first quarter, that was the message from the Sydney coach at quarter time.
So ball will come back. Paul Williams certainly quiet, doing a lot of work in defence at the moment. Probably, well, up there again in their best and fairest. Has won it in their last couple of seasons. Fosdyke, so changing direction. Shorville has a runner now. Leo Barry, and this is where they want him further up the ground. Well, it's Benny Matthews. Straightens up a little bit of time. That's a decent kick. Oh, that's a good mark, Seymour.
Great footy. Great footy. Great kick by Matthews. They got the ball in there quickly.
One of the rare times they've been able to move forward without being met by a Melbourne player, and that's the end result. Able to find someone inside 50, so Seymour with a chance. And most of his career as a defender, so boy, is he up against it. The wind and this kick, and that's a goal. No, just to the left. Looked like it was bending back. So they're applauding him because he got close, I think. Fair effort from Brad Seymour.
Yeah, looked for a moment as though it was going to come back, didn't it?
Yeah, the wind's going from left to right.
It's so important for the Demons, and actually it goes without saying that they continue that first quarter. That was a very good first quarter from the Demons. Good start. They have to build on it though.
Got a good zone here. The Swans will force Bizzle to go long.
That's exactly what he does. Thumping kick, Jolly to target. Good contest by Sundquist. Hard at it, Godfrey. Wrapped up by Seymour.
As you made mention, Sauce, I suppose, expect the unexpected. Within the conditions, a ball will hit the ground, and it's just so important. We're forever talking about having numbers around the ball. Well, that is certainly there for the players today.
Goods just nudges Jolly underneath the football. Thumps it long inside, attacking 50. Carroll, courageous mark. He's played well early.
This is about his third touch of this quarter. Great to see him play with that amount of courage. Eyes on the ball.
Uses Daniel Ward. He chips out wide. Ferguson. Now where does he go? He just chips short. McDonald. Methodically working it for the Demons. Bruce inside the centre square. Little fumble, but he's got plenty of time. Now this is where he needs to use it. Kick out wide. On the lead, Smith. Good fist coming from Barry. Uze a chance. Adam Uze balances and kicks towards Meach, chipping in front.
Great mark.
It was by Thompson.
It was a great mark and a great kick by Uze. There was no one long to the square, so he had to pinpoint this kick, and it was a great mark.
I think it was initially intended for Neitz. You see Neitz coming to meet it, but just chipping in front of Neitz and Schauble was this man, Scott Thompson.
Been impressive as well.
Certainly has. Good opening quarter. He's had 8 disposals, so coming up for disposal number 9.
Be a bonus goal from here, let's face it.
He's kicked 4 goals this year. Comes in, swinging, bang, he's kicked it. Well, Melbourne are destroying the Swans, the old local knowledge, because their goal kicking has been absolutely superb.
Well, it's an area of their game that really has suffered this year, Sauce, hasn't it? It's their skill level, yet you'd imagine in the conditions that that would certainly fall away, but it's actually, they've gone on another level, really.
And that was a great kick by Uze.
So it's out to 16 points. Neil Danaher still has a huge job in front of him, as has his players. Jolly down, Fosdyke missed it. Godfrey certainly does give him plenty of input in the middle of the ground, not scared to mix it up. We will go again, Jolly. Godfrey picks himself up. Again, swarm of players waiting for this ball to come down. Goods will slam it forward. Half forward, no one there. Carroll led hold of the ball. Thompson's there. Jude Bolton over the top. Chance now. Again confronted Fosdyke. Loose ball. Down the corner. Carroll has been good, but that's a shocker. So Sydney will take it on that outer side. And Maxfield should thump it in. He's a penetrating kick, the skipper, and that's what he does. He'll bang it in long. Ball from behind. That's better. He won't go for it. It'll come down. And again, Carroll's there. It's been excellent. Godfrey and the Demons will run. Thompson. Defensive 50. Dropping short. Bolton's in the area. Craig Bolton. Kennelly. And again, Swans will go with a handball. Maxfield.
Good pressure.
Hands off in the end. Schneider is gone. That is a perfect tackle.
Great pressure. Great pressure by the Melbourne players.
Not rewarded by the umpire.
Just have a look at the pressure that these Melbourne players are putting onto their opponents. They are forcing the Swans to overuse the ball through handball.
So ball bounce. Jolly again with his hand to it, doing well. Fosdyke dribbles a kick out. Will it stay in? I love the met by Wheeler. And that's the type of willingness at the moment from the Demons physically. They have been spot on. And Mickey O'Loughlin's had a pretty quiet one at the moment. Pretty hard day for forwards though, to be trying to read the football.
Boundary throw in. Chance for the Swans. Little fumble from Schneider. Thompson, the man who kicked the previous goal, just wobbles it towards half forward. Walsh. Oh, that was worth a kick for the Swans. Chance for Goods. Uze put his body in first. Well played. He's got to beat a couple out there. Adam Uze, and he ties it up. That's a good result for Melbourne.
Just like to see Barry Hall play one out, Sauce, and it might sound a little bit silly, but I'd like to see him play from behind. Physically, he's a lot bigger. The ball will travel over the top, and if he can keep Carroll under the ball, he's more of a chance to take a mark and outmanoeuvre.
Well, the problem is, though, Dave, is that Melbourne are dropping a further man back, so it'll be a 2-on-1 contest.
Free kick to Maxfield. Just forward of the wing. Captain trying to lift his side. They're playing for the possibility or the chance to have the double chance next week.
Bizzle dropping back as a loose man. That loose man, Sauce.
There he is. He's in good position, Bizzle. Marks inside, defensive 50. He's away. Oh, it's an awkward kick. Schneider couldn't quite control it. Can at ground level. Kick inside, attacking 50. O'Loughlin. Kick was astray. Free kick to Melbourne. Let's quickly go down to the boundary line. Andy, some interesting players on the Sydney Swans bench.
There are, Michael, particularly Darren Creswell and Nick Davis. They're certainly not afraid to rotate some of their frontline players at the moment, Sydney. And I've got to say right now, all the momentum down here is with Melbourne. They're looking extremely lethargic at the moment, the Swans. So we'll see if there's some sort of a flu or something that's gone through the camp this week.
Bizzle's kick picked up by Canelli onto Paul Williams, further up the ground, rare side, it's long, Doyle can't mark, O'Loughlin dangerous, misses. They ran out of space and again just jumped on by the Demon defenders. Terrific play from Ward.
Well, we just see the amount of Melbourne players getting back. 4-on-2 contest. Fortunately for the Swans, Mickey O'Loughlin was able to rove it, but couldn't get it through the goals.
Bizzle, dangerous short kick, they're in trouble. Thompson kicked his head, well played. Emerges from half-back. McDonald hits Matthews underneath the football. He's got to beat a couple. Knocked it intelligently towards Green. The pressure, though, from the Swans has improved. Oh, somehow McDonald got it to Jolly, who was lurking into the pocket, over the head of Smith. Now a chance for Shawbull, who was quick to get back. He's got Goods across the ground, uses him. Good running from Goods. And now they've got loose players. Kirk, Williams. Back to Kirk. Kicks towards half forward. Matthews well played. He runs to 45. Boot the ball. It's close. It's home. Goal to the Swans. So that was probably their best passage of ball for the day, Steve. With some good play.
It was. They switched the ball over to the far side and then they brought the ball into the middle of the ground. And this is where, as a defender, you do start panicking. But fortunately for Matthews, he was able to put it through the goals and at least give the Swans a little bit of momentum.
So the ball coming off the ground, I think it will be retired, maybe flat.
Nick Davis onto the ground. We saw him on the bench just a short while ago.
So best bit of lead-up play for the Swans with their second goal of the game coming to Benny Matthews. A little bit of run out of defence as well.
The Swans, the Demons had pushed the spare man down into their defence.
So Jolly and Goods. Goods will jump. No one getting a hand to it. Rigoni to ground. No clear possession, so we will go with a bounce again.
And that spare man is Clint Bizzle. Carroll has gone to Barry Hall, so they will look for Clint Bizzle as their go-to man when they run out of defence. He is the spare opponent down there.
So ball will come out again. Thompson, some good work. Matty wheeling into half forward. Neath's got it. So running back is Uze. Will go to the square. Uze is actually the target. Has to turn around. Robertson and he collide. And it should have been Robertson calling Uze in, who had his eyes on the ball running with the flight.
It was good play by David Neath. He got it in quickly. The Swans were running down there in numbers. And as you said, Dakes, probably Uze should have been the man called into that mark.
A ball to come in. Interesting to know who the Swans have free. Try and pick that up in a second. It'll come out to Peter Walsh. And that's better signs for Sydney. 3 tacklers on that occasion. So Clangers in this quarter 6-1. Probably a lot more pressure coming on the Demons now. Don't have the luxury of finding a little bit of space, so just tightening it up. Robertson, hands off, Rigoni, quick kick, back in, 25 from goal, Green goes out wide to McDonald, chance for the Demons, and again concedes ground. Nathan Brown will line up, load up, and it's into the air, and that is a good finish. That is a marvellous finish from Nathan Brown. Not known for his goal kicking or finishing, Nathan Brown comes up with the goal the Demons were looking for, and the lead goes back out to 15 points.
Well, yes, they just had numbers here, Melbourne. They had numbers around the stoppages, and well, the Swans defenders and also on ballers failed to get touch on their direct opponents and enabled Brown to get that easy shot at goal.
So reply by Melbourne, and Paul Roos, well, he must be a little concerned at the moment. Great finish from Nathan Brown, just his 6th goal of the year. Back in the centre, Jolly, that's a precise tap to Thompson. Uses Green, gets a bounce, good backing up by Thompson, who's played very well this afternoon. Long inside attacking 50, Smith almost, he got a hand to it. Chance for Kirk, good pressure Robertson. Now Walsh.
What is in the square?
Oh, that's a great tackle. No free kick. Tackle came from Crouch, now a chance for Matthews, who just bombs it long. Bizzle with the set and the mark.
Well, Bizzle at one end is the spare man, Leo Barry at the other.
Dangerous kick, Williams almost intercepts. Green, back to Bizzle. Now James McDonald for Melbourne. Hasn't got much to kick to, so he's forced to handball wide to Bruce, who now kicks towards half forward. Robertson, does he interfere with? No. Bolton back on the football. Good desperate play from Brown. They've got the numbers, Sydney, but they can't get clear, and Melbourne do well in the end to tie it up.
Well, they're working hard. Every contest there is, Melbourne, they seem to be winning.
At the moment, the scoreboard will show that it's in favour of the Demons, with Bizzle doing well and Barry loose, but I don't like Melbourne's chances. Leo Barry, Sydney can get it to him. He does set up and does run. It's inside 50. That is a good kick. Leo Barry just getting there. Loose ball. Chance for Sydney to run it away. He got clear well. Barry on the goods, and a chance now. Williams has room to move. Decides to kick, and that's a good kick. Nick Davis dropped it. Wardle running away. Demons again out of defence have been terrific. It's long. Looking for Thompson, who got there too early. Doing some good work in defence. Chips in. Crouch has to wait. He's wrapped up by Rigoni. Ward. And again, the Demons ready to go into attack. Walsh has had a big second quarter. So Scotty Thompson has it. Long way from goal. Demons ready to move in again. 16-31. Deserve their lead. Ward will bang it in. A set of square. Neese has a bit of a run at it. Front position. Good footy in the end from Shawball. Just thumps it through.
There's no doubt the Demons are hunting the Swans at the moment. Every time the Swans have got the ball, they are tackling with some type of aggression.
Chance for Barry, defensive 50. Long towards the wing. Crouch keeps the ball in front of him, but can't keep it from going over the boundary line.
Even where that ball hit just then, Chris, Nathan Brown was just sitting behind Rigoni and Crouch going at the ball. So again, the Swans have to get numbers there.
Great hit.
Certainly was. Thompson playing very well in the midfield. Rigoni, was he tackled high? No. Scott Thompson, 16 possessions. And
they're dominating the hit-outs, Melbourne.
Just halfway through this second term, Travis Johnston comes onto the ground. Adam Goods in the picture.
The hit-outs are 19-9.
Johnston into the action early, wrapped up by Kirk, and we'll get a bounce.
Just like to see, certainly late part of that last quarter, Goods came off the ground for his rest. Roberts Thompson went in the ruck. I'd like to see Goods stay on the ground, because I'm interested to see him play out of the goal square and to see how Melbourne react to it.
The Swans have an extra man at this stoppage.
Matthews has it, got it from Goods. And again, another bounce. Just looking at inside 50s. Melbourne 16, Sydney 20. So Sydney have certainly got into their attacking zone, but their inefficiency with moving the football, and in particular kicking for goals, really let them down this afternoon. Jolly towards no one really except Kirk, and oh dear.
Tucked into it.
There was a grab on the top of the Kirk's jumper. jumper.
He's had eight possessions, Chris, but again, if you hadn't have looked at the screen, you wouldn't have been aware that he's had a fairly quiet game.
Kick short to Creswell. Creswell's been quiet. This is just possession number 5 for him. Prolific possession winner in the midfield. Just chipped short. O'Loughlin, good strong hands in front of Bruce. Michael O'Loughlin thought about giving it back to Creswell. Now kicks instead towards Seymour, who marks. And Brad Seymour playing just his first game of the year, and an opportunity here to kick a goal for the Swans.
Well, almost identical position to his first opportunity at goal. I just think he needs to have a shot from here. Don't worry about the short one.
Well, he just missed to the left-hand side in that first attempt, and it looked for a moment as though it was going to swing back from left to right and go through for a goal.
Left-hand goal post is what he should be aiming for.
Well, there's a great look at what's ahead of him, and that kick is close. Oh, dear. Well, he almost nailed it. He corrected the first time, but just overcorrected. So, another missed opportunity. Well, it was really a half opportunity. It was always going to be a very difficult kick for goal.
Got numbers, Melbourne.
Johnson out wide. Finds Ferguson, decides to run and move it on quickly. No one there. And just sitting back taking an easy mark was Bolton. So Craig Bolton looks up quickly. That's a decent kick. Schneider got there too early. Again, the ball bounces away. Did well to hold Melbourne off, and they get it to Matthews through the traffic. So used by handball to hold on to possession. Sliding in Ferguson, couldn't mark it. Kirk through the traffic. Wrapped up again. Ward goes in. And too high.
Yeah, I tend to agree with the umpire there. Ward came in late and collected Kirk high.
Godfrey giving Kirk one as well, so he certainly earned it.
Just unnecessary play from Ward there.
Short into the middle. Creswell short again. Benny Matthews, so they've got it middle of the ground.
Well, they got plenty of numbers back, the Demons.
And while they take their time, Sauce getting it forward, the Swans
needs to run hard from here.
Creswell will just bang it in long. It's to the square from behind O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin will kick a goal. So Mickey O'Loughlin. Just what the Swans were looking for. As Carroll picks him up, he read it beautifully. A little bit of luck, and the Swans have a much needed goal.
Well, it's a great. This was the decision early on where Kirk got. Well, you could.
Gee, there wasn't much in that.
Be a little bit soft, but it was a great effort here by Creswell. Put the ball under the arm, went long to the top of the square, and O'Loughlin was able to rope it.
Michael O'Loughlin with his first goal of the afternoon. Was 37 for the season. Jolly gets it forward. Maxfield in the way though for the Swans. Dumps it back inside. Attacking 50. Ferguson got a hand on it. Couldn't complete the mark. Bizzle, who's been solid. Kick out wide. Chance here for the Demons. Well, Green just ran around the football. Maxfield committed. Good tackle though from Johnston. And a great second effort from Travis Johnston. He's come to play this afternoon. And he'll get a free kick. Well played.
Actually, Goods is playing out of the goal square for Sydney. I think Bizzle may have the job there, so they're trying to drag Bizzle away. Good to see Goods down there as well.
Good kick inside the corridor. Jolly, quick little handoff to Ward. Sweeping handball to Walsh. Green, he's a beautiful kick, Brad Green. He just chips short, and Godfrey has marked just 30 metres from goal directly in front. Great composure, and they moved the ball very well. And Steve, all started by some great desperate tackling from Travis Johnston.
Well, great to see him come onto the ground and give his side a bit of a lift, and obviously the Demons have to reply to that goal, but the best way to get involved in the game is win the ball at your first contest.
As we look at the Godfrey mark, it's their first mark inside attacking 50 for the afternoon. They've still managed to kick 5 goals too, Melbourne. And Simon Godfrey has been a very good player this year in a run with capacity. He's kicked the 3 goals for the year. Melbourne need this one. Drop punt is close. Oh dear. Just missed. Well, that would have been very handy for the Demons. Wasn't to be. Anguish shown by Simon Godfrey as he hits the post.
Well, would have been just reward. He's been a good player in the game so far. So Creswell will hand off. A little bit of run now coming. So better signs. Benny Matthews to wing. Jamar just holds off Doyle. Loose ball. Davis will run. A little bit of time, a little bit of space. Bangs it in. O'Loughlin's thereabouts. He's got it. No, dropped it on the way down. Playing from behind. It's going to be hard for the Demons now. Hall. Loose ball will come out. Cameron Bruce took a bounce. Funny place to take a bounce under a lot of pressure. And in the back.
I think it may have been a fumble, Dax. I don't think he deliberately tried to bounce it. I may have just lost the handle there for a moment, Cameron Bruce. They're holding up pretty well, though, Steve, aren't they, the Melbourne defence?
They are.
Boy, Barry Hall making McDonald earn it. Short. Nathan Brown will take it.
We just see a couple of minutes left in this quarter. Just so important that Melbourne don't allow the Swans to get a late goal.
Even though we keep talking down Sydney at the moment, they're playing nowhere near their best. They only trail by 10. So don't need too much tweaking at the moment. Matthew Whelan on the full by Schneider. No, not paid. So the ball will be thrown in. Melbourne fans not too happy, not far away from it. And for the Swans, we have a boundary throw in their half.
Now there's a conference here between the field umpire and boundary umpire. Melbourne players adding some weight to the argument. I think the field umpire suspects it was over on the full. Well, let's have a look at it. Yeah, that was definitely over on the full. And the boundary umpire, well, he's won the battle because he was the one that initially indicated it was off the knee. Wheeland just scrambles it forward towards the wing, and again it's over. So close to half time, Melbourne led by 11 points at quarter time. And despite Sydney, well, certainly controlling play in this second term, they still hold a 10-point advantage. Jamar gets it down, and again a little second tap. Bolton, well, he runs straight into Kennelly. Still managed to get the handball out to Kirk, who wobbles it towards the wing. Snyder had to sit and wait. Beautifully done. Fosdyke, he's running. He can run inside attacking 50 and kick a goal, Fosdyke. Drop punt on its way. It's across the face. Bizzle getting back. Takes a very good mark. Now he's played on. He's got nowhere to go, Clint Bizzle. Eventually Walsh runs for him, and that's a great kick onto the chest of Walsh and Melbourne away.
They are just behind wing. Need players to come up. Brad Green may be the target. That's where he heads. So Green run a long way to get on the end of it. Into the corridor, could be dangerous. So Green will just bang into the pocket. Neitz has the sit, and Neitz nearly the mark. It's a free. Robertson at goal, but has to come back. So David Neitz free against Craig Bolton. Or Shawble, not really sure. So a chance for the Demon skipper, Scotty Thompson, able to make good from this position in the early part of this second.
Well, a late goal here be very handy for the Demons.
So they lead by 10 at the moment, the Demons. Been pretty good. Too high, over the shoulder, Craig Bolton. Third man up.
Should be doing well to kick this, Dakes.
Yeah, the skipper has the chance. Have to be a great kick. And his kicking does let him down, Nita. And that is a minor score. It will all add up in the end, though. Pretty low scoring game, 8 goals in total. And the Demons are out to that 11-point lead.
Just 31 seconds from half-time as William just kicks it into the pocket. Matthews. Good kick onto the chest of O'Keefe. Is there time for the Swans for one more? Kick towards Bolton, who's made position on the wing.
Trouble.
Away they go. Handball off to Fosdyke. Opportunity here for the Swans. O'Loughlin and Bruce. Bruce gets it down. Sundquist can't control it. Good pick up by Bruce. Uses Godfrey, who chips short. Mark taken by Walsh. Now what's going on here?
It's a 3-2. Something is going on.
It's a bit confusing.
Hall.
I think it was against Barry Hall off the play, and you just see umpire talking to Barry Hall, who looks a little surprised and having a few words. But it is half time at the MCG, and Melbourne have played extremely well, and they lead it by 11 points at the long break, and that was the difference at quarter time. So despite Sydney controlling play, Steve, in that most of that second quarter, that Melbourne have played pretty well to hold on.
Well, yes, and we just see a bit of frustration coming out in some of the Sydney players, and just their tackling and harassing. They continue that in that second quarter, and there would be some concerns in that Swans camp there. They certainly haven't got that fluent running football. But a great quarter once again by the Demons.
Half-time at the MCG. Sydney searching for a top 4 finish, but at the moment they trail the Demons by 11 points. Back with Stephen Silvani in a moment to review the first half.
Is now happening Wednesdays on Fox Footy Extra. He's got it. Grassroots footy, direct from your home turf. The VFL Match of the Round, 10 o'clock Wednesday on Fox Footy Extra.
The National AFL Rising Star recognises the best young footballers playing in the Australian Football League. Here are this year's nominees from rounds 13 to 18. Docker Byron Shammer, Aaron Sandilands also from Fremantle, Bomber Ted Richards, Daniel Motlop from the Kangaroos, Collingwood's Richard Cole, and Lewis Roberts-Thompson from the Swans. The award is part of the National AFL Pathway Program, who will be the National AFL Rising Star in 2003.
Welcome to my world.
Oh man, this is total mayhem.
Total. I don't think this is what any of us expected. Non-stop.
Oh, did you get this?
Action.
It's on, Mike. It's on.
Oh yeah. What an out-of-control situation this is. Get it right here on Main Event.
TNA Wrestling 9, live on pay-per-view, Thursday, September 25. Call your service provider and book now.
Welcome back to the MCG as we look at the Sydney players back on the ground for the start of the third quarter. And, well, they've got to pull something out because at the long break they trailed by 11 points. They tried valiantly in that second term to try and get back into the match as we see Melbourne come onto the ground. But Melbourne were able to hold firm. And, as I said, at the long break they lead by 11 points.
Yeah, look, the thing you ask yourself about the Demons is if they're able to sustain it, Sauce. I suppose that's been one of their problems this year. They've had 3 or 2 good quarters in a game, but just getting the 4 quarters together has been a real problem.
Well, let's have a look at the Telstra rankings up till half-time. And we notice Adam Good's on top and Darren Jolly, who have been pitted against each other for much of the day in second possession, but also some interesting players in the top 10.
Yes, and Ben Matthews there is ranked 3rd, but I thought Scott Thompson's had a sensational game with 16 possession, comes in at 5th. And the rest, well, there's a few other Melbourne players there in Ward Uze and, of course, Nathan Carroll, who are providing...
He's done a pretty good job, Steve, hasn't he?
Yeah.
In Barry Hall.
No, he had a pretty good first half of footy.
Let's get down to the boundary line. Andy Marr.
The only notable injury down here at the half-time break is Russell Robertson, who appears to have done his left hamstring, boys. The one roll of the dice that Sydney have done today with Stephen Doyle just doesn't appear to have worked at the moment. He's been on and off the ground 4 times, yet to get a disposal. At quarter time, they worked furiously on his right leg, just above and behind the knee. He hasn't had any impact at all, and if they're going to push through this final series beyond the first week, give Adam Good some sort of a chop out every now and again, you would think that Stephen Doyle's going to need to show something in this second half.
Thanks very much, Andy. Yes, well, just his second game for the year, Stephen Doyle. He's, with the loss of Jason Ball, he is an important part, but really he hasn't done too much today, Dave.
No, he hasn't. I actually watched him, and I should have said before the game, but I watched him prior to the warm-up, as they came out, prior to coming out onto the ground to start the game, that he actually was limping in the warm-up. So, look, you have to ask yourself whether he's right to be playing the game, and just looking at his knee, it looks pretty much protected. So, look, he is important, though. Adam Goods certainly does need some support.
Well, what do you think, Steve? I mean, Melbourne have held sway. Sydney looked dangerous at times in that second term. What do they need to do to really get back into this game?
Well, I think it's quite obvious. I think they've got to get the ball inside their forward 50 nice and quickly, but also hold the ball inside their 50 just to put the Melbourne defenders under a bit of pressure. I don't think their forwards have worked hard enough to fight for for the ball.
Creswell, Nick Davis and Michael O'Loughlin will play out of the square. Paul Williams starting across half forward, and that first half was dragged back deep out of that Melbourne goal square.
There's that spare man on Barry Hall, 2 against 1.
Well, third quarter just about to get underway. Sydney, well, it's such an important game for them. They need to win to give themselves a chance to finish in the top 4. Kirk scrambles it forward towards centre half forward. In the way, Whelan, who's been a very good player. And Goods has just winded back in midfield. Jolly, kick inside, attacking 50. Green over his head. Chance for Neat. Oh, Shawbull did well. And we'll get a boundary thrown. And there's Adam Goods just limping after. And just, well, he's not too happy about something. I think it might have been the centre bounce to start this third quarter. Let's have a look at it again. And those ruckmen hitting each other hard. Gee, and there you can see, just limping away from that contest. From the boundary throw-in, chance for Kirk. Walsh has been tough. Handball back conceding ground. Rigoni somehow got boot to ball. Neats, oh, he almost marked it. Numbers though with the Swans. Bolton off to Crouch. And the Swans out of trouble just for the moment. Carroll, who's played very, very well. Handball off to Thompson. Now's where he needs to find a target. Handball to Carroll. Will he use Thompson? Yes. Waited a long time, and in the end, that was poor.
Well, it was sloppy, wasn't it? The look-away handball. Probably should have given it straight away, but well done by those 2 Melbourne players, though.
Quickly down to Andy Marr. Adam Goods, Andrew.
Oh, it's exactly what Sydney doesn't need, Chris. The doctor's out there trying to get at him at the moment. Obviously, he's in this contest, but he's extremely proppy at the moment. We'll keep an eye on him.
Well, they could ill afford to lose him. The cupboard is bare of ruckman Sydney. 2 down, 1 to go, possibly. Adam Goods.
And there's nothing worse coming off the ground with a corky. The ideal thing is trying to run it out.
The ball comes in. Jolly down towards Sydney's goal. Crouch will go in. Knocked off the ball by Johnston. Did well. Uze over top of Maxfield. And we will get a bounce. Sydney skipper certainly has had his hands full. Better second quarter. Do need a lot of his run and penetration with his kicking. Sydney at the moment trail by just 11 points. Jolly comes down. Rigoni met. Jolly again. Kirk hugging the boundary. Handballs again, overuse of the handball. Goods no chance to Jude Bolton over the top. Williams, can he run onto it? Not if Johnston has his way, and the ball again over the line. So pretty scrappy.
And just Steve, Melbourne really extending the Sydney defence. There's some real tools. You've got Smith, Ferguson, Neats and Green all down in the attacking zone for Melbourne, and the Sydney defence has really been stretched for height at the moment.
Well, it has, and probably the quarter to do it for the D's. They are going with the wind, if that is the kicking end of the ground, and smart play by Neil Danaher.
Goods is battling. Sydney should think about getting a 3rd man up in the contest. He goes in against Jolly. The ball will be balled up again. Jolly's done a terrific job for the Demons. Stoppages.
They tend to hit forward at this contest, Melbourne.
Rigoni will take it. It's a free to Goods. Shepherding by Jolly. I don't know whether there's a lot in that. So Goods will slam it forward. Hall from behind. Hall can go onto it, and Hall will mark. And handball off. Schneider will finish with his second. He's missed it, and he's missed it. Oh.
That is a bad miss.
Shocking, if any positive. It was Barry Hall just playing behind. I like that ball floating over the top. And they don't come any easier than this.
Just got it right on the instep. Ball back in the centre. Chance for the Demons. Bizzle. Oh, he finds himself in a nest of Sydney Swans. Hall just shrugs McDonald off. Still a chance at ground level. They tie it up and they get a bounce. Carroll fighting hard there, as was the Sydney captain, Stuart Maxfield. And there's Barry Hall. Well, it was a very good mark. He tried to crash his way through McDonald. May have caught him a little high. Umpire didn't think so. Goods, deft little touch towards Bolton. Picked up though by McDonald. Wobbles it towards half forward. Well played by Smith. He knocks it on, but the only player there is Barry. Look out. Great tackle. Gee, that was a throw. Barry gets another chance, and that was only just a fraction better. Matthews slips it out wide. Short ball. G puts Williams under the pump. Brown, that's a great tackle. They're under pressure, Sydney. There's no urgency in their play. Fosdyke. Matthews. Good chase from McDonald. Chip out wide. Hall sliding on his knees. Marks.
Fosdyke and Benny Matthews, you have to put a little bit of, or the Demons have to put attention on Fosdyke and Benny Matthews, who late in that second were very good and have started well in the third.
Ball.
We'll need to get it in quick here.
On the lead of Creswell. Sorry, Steve. There is space. Creswell kicks it, in fact, towards the pocket. Don't know about that, but Snyder somehow has marked it.
Good use of the body.
Now he's got a loose player at the top of the goal square. Lachlan slip. Bruce applies the pressure. Whelan overruns it. Bruce back on top of it. They get it towards the line, and Johnston eventually just shuffles it through.
They've done well today, Melbourne. They've had numbers at the full of the ball. They've been prepared to get across and to support their teammates.
Well, there was the throw from Leo Barry, and really, well, what can you say? It was a throw.
Please say it.
Well, I was going to say that difficult to miss that, but we all make mistakes, Dakes. Chance for Uze, who kicks to himself, thumps it long inside the centre square. Jolly in good position, but better read by Adam Goods, who seems to have recovered from that knock earlier on in the quarter. Squares it up. Fosdyke off a step, inside attacking 50. Williams running hard, but the wind having an impact there. Williams has chance to settle, gets around Brown. He does, runs to 40. Paul Williams kicks it goal, kicks across the face for one behind. Well, they're peppering away the Sydney Swans, but they can't find the big opening, and this wind is really playing havoc with their forwards and midfielders this afternoon.
A little bit of run coming now. Better signs. Half-time address from Paul Roos. Doing the business at the moment, so Johnston will bring it in. Into the middle, dangerous. Nathan Brown left it behind. Swans will jump on it. Jude Bolton. Kirk again, shocking handball to play. Back to goal. Fosdyke to Williams. On it, Creswell loves the goal, and he will miss. Everything? No, just scrapes it in. So all the scoring with Sydney at the moment. Darren Creswell.
Great little give by Kirk just before that kick.
So Johnston to do it all again. Responsibility of bringing it back and hopefully finding someone. Hopefully this effort's better. Playing the percentages long. Goods from behind, slaps it forward. Again Fosdyke at the drop to Jude Bolton. Short over the head of Kirk. Matthew Whelan to mop up. Handballs to Brown, who chips up in the end. That's not a good kick. Seymour easily slaps it away from Green. Kirk and Seymour. Jude Bolton starting to get the ball. Better signs. Benny Matthews. Leo Barry. Oh, Leo. Oh, still holds on to it, and the ball will go over the line.
It's a classic example. They're in the motion of switching the play, but because Leo Barry hasn't got a right side, he was intent on getting back onto his left side, and in the end, all the Swans players were moving to the other side of the ground. He had nowhere to go. So a boundary throw in. Goods and Jolly, well done, down to Rigoni. Kick towards half forward. Kirk in front. Good spoil coming from Uze. Now there's a chance for Melbourne. Seymour battling away, knocks it to the line, and we'll get a boundary throw in. Adam Uze has been well held this afternoon. Just 7 possessions. Handballs in this quarter. Well, dominance there by Sydney, but gee, they're overusing it. Part due to the pressure that Melbourne are applying. Gee, that was a poor boundary throw, and that travelled about 5 metres. Chance for Thompson, coming up to meet it, short ball. Thompson did very well, kept his eye on the football, and the umpire lets it go and eventually calls for it.
It's been impressive, this kid. Thompson.
17 possessions as we look at Paul Roos. And the marks this quarter, Sydney also in front. Chance here though for the Demons. Close to their goal, Jolly. Fosdyke did well, committed himself. Davis and Ward. Davis props in front. Oh, he wasn't paid the mark. Good push-off. Sensational play from Davis. He's away. Good shepherding coming from Bolton.
Good running.
The fourth bounce and the fifth. Nick Davis, can he use it inside attacking 50? O'Loughlin, yes. Now the boundary umpire has been caught 120 metres behind play, and if there was ever an argument to have 4 boundary umpires on the ground, well, that was it. Because he was literally 120 metres behind the play, no fault of his own, because the ball movement was so quick. O'Loughlin kicks to the goal square. Hall in good position. Carroll did very well. Hall has it. He's wrapped up. Somehow got boot the ball. Johnston keeps his head under pressure. Well played, Travis Johnston. Now can he execute? He can. Mark taken by Bruce in the back pocket.
So Bruce to wind up the Demons out of that back pocket between wing, southern stand side and half back over the line. So Crouch doing enough. So the Swans will regroup and have a chance to bang it back inside 50. Demon bench, Ferguson in the foreground. Started on the ground. So Goods and Jolly to combat or go at it here. Swans have been better at stoppages. McDonald slaps it out in the end. Pressure on Johnston. Walsh couldn't control it. Rigoni, stolen by Kennelly. Can go at goal. Decides to give it to Paul Williams. It'll drop short. And the wind again taking control of the football. Bruce. Danger. Nick Davis does enough. The ball will run. But Demons have numbers. Armstrong over the top. Bruce. So Walsh, it's Ward, will wind up and bang in. Neeks from behind. Neeks has got it. No, Neeks dropped it. Kirk to mop up. Handball's back. Neeks will take it. Kick quickly. Unguarded goal square. Across the goal it goes. And boundary throwing. At least the Demons have got it closer to goal.
Gee, we're disappointed with that, David Neeks.
It was a golden opportunity. He's found it hard today to get a few touches. Shawwell's done a pretty good job on him, and that is an easy chest mark dropped.
Boundary throw in, Jolly down. Bolton in the way though. Going in hard was Thompson again. Comes to Goods. Oh gee, that was an ordinary kick. Chance for Melbourne. Armstrong will be first there. No, he wasn't. Well played by Fosdyke. Hacked it out of mid-air towards the boundary line. Schneider's got to beat a couple. And works it over the boundary line. Boundary throw in.
Dace, you just sense that the urgency is just starting to creep back into the Swans lineup. Yep. They are just seem to trying to get themselves over the line here.
Boundary throw in, margin 7 points.
Well, they're giving themselves every chance now.
Jolly, another hit out. Ward missed it. Williams spills towards Davis there. In number though, the Swans. Maxfield. Great kick towards Hall. He just couldn't quite hold on. Carroll again doing a pretty good job. A couple of tough nuts there. And we get a boundary throw in at half forward for the Swans.
Sorry, Chris. Stephen Doyle just off screen playing a loose man kick behind the play. He's probably too far behind the play. It's not a kick, it's probably 2.
Hall kicks it out of the ruck contest. Chance for Johnston. Confronted by Kirk, pushes off, very well done. Support provided by Bizzle as he kicks low and hard onto the chest of Williams, who hasn't seen much game time. Luke Williams. What can Melbourne do here? Gee, it's an ordinary helicopter type kick inside attacking 50. Makes it hard there.
He was being held onto before that ball even hit the ground as Melbourne were moving into attack.
Brian O'Keefe preparing to come on. But Melbourne again have it inside their attacking 50. Boundary throw in. In front, Smith, Davis, Barry, Seymour, and now Kennelly. Gets around Smith easily. Uses Davis. Gee, they're fiddling a bit, but Kennelly provides them some real running. Look out. Good tackle from Ward. Let go at the appropriate time. Kennelly kept running. He got it from Fosdyke. He calls for the forwards to come to him. O'Loughlin does. Kicks in front of O'Loughlin. Bruce is in close to shoot. O'Loughlin just a little kick around the corner. Chance for McDonald. He overruns it. Missed it completely. Hall. Good tackle, Bizzle. Ties him up. Play onto the call. Still a chance for the Swans. Creswell. O'Loughlin kicks it off the outside of the boot to Williams. That was extraordinary play. A piece of inventive maestro play from O'Loughlin. As we watch this again, the tackle from Bizzle was good. Hall somehow got it out. Fosdyke knocked it. Creswell and O'Loughlin just on the outside of the right boot was able to get it to Williams, who will line up from directly in front.
Great work from Fosdyke, Nick Fosdyke. He's been good. Nick Davis has also given the Swans a lift in this third quarter.
Paul Williams to narrow the margin to just 1 point. He pops it through. Margin back to 1 point. The Swans are coming. Well, it's taken a while. In fact, the first goal of the third quarter has taken 14.5 minutes as we watch Michael O'Loughlin. That was just exquisite skills, wasn't it?
Unbelievable to be under that pressure and think that you can just lay that type of kick off. Clint Bizzle can consider himself a little unlucky not to get the free kick when he tackled Barry Hall.
Well, is it starting to come apart for the Demons? That Swan supporter pretty happy. You have to ask yourself, Paul Williams got clear and was well clear, sitting 20 from goal. So it's in the middle, comes down, players run into each other, comes back out. They concede ground to Nathan Brown on that left foot. Thompson will just chip up. Chance now. Armstrong to run it forward. He'll take a bounce. Needs players to come. Chips in. And that's a mark to Johnson. So he's done well out of the middle. So Travis Johnston with a shot at goal, but too far out. Nathan Brown off. Uze back on for the Demons off screen.
Probably the place to have a shot at goal. Uze just coming off the bench.
So Johnston to come in will be tricky. He'll bang it into the air and it'll move away. Cross goal. Doyle's back down there. Dangerous as the Swans, well, kept in by the Demons. Swans not able or managing to get that one through. They have now. As Neeks has a go at Seymour, and it's a free to Seymour. So David Neeks, undisciplined, out wide short. Well, that's Neeks' man, who's done a terrific job on David Neeks. Hands off in the end. Room to run. Fosdyke again with room
50 metres, Dates. 50-metre penalty.
Well, frustration starting to come out of these Melbourne players. They just need to keep a level head here. They are being challenged.
Suffered from Alzheimer's, the Demons, really. When you consider that first half of football, they had really, the things they were doing, they really had to try and reproduce in this game. At the moment, Swans finding a lot of room. Benny Matthews, one of those players. Move into attack. Barry Hall into that pocket. That's where they go. But he's there too early. Loose ball, O'Loughlin. Normally good. They slap it out. So Barry Hall back on there. So second effort was good. Nick Davis. Dummied one, not the second. Hands off in the end. O'Keefe. Matthews. Short again. O'Loughlin should mark and does.
There's a Melbourne player down. Looks like it's Jolly.
Too much room, top right at the moment. This is moving around, Sauce. And they've run into Barry Hall. No, it was a fist of Jude Bolton. Well, it's not working out for the Demons at the moment. Swans have certainly lifted, and a goal here will give the Swans the lead. They trail by a point at the moment. Mickey O'Loughlin has kicked the goal, starting to look dangerous, and Mickey O'Loughlin's kicked his second, and the Swans have the lead. Well, it's better from a lot of the better players of the Swans in this third quarter, Sauce, and that's one of the reasons they're back. They've got run off half back, they're sharing the ball and they're using it better.
Yes, and this incident there, Bolton trying to go for the spoil, but Mickey O'Loughlin just gets to the right spot at the right time, and more importantly, he was able to put Sydney in front.
So the Swans in front for the first time since the opening minutes of the game. Jolly thumps it forward towards centre-half forward. Melbourne need a response. Knock on by Johnston. Getting back was Crouch, but he's well tackled by Thompson. Oh dear. Thompson not happy, and there's another 50 metres. Well, let's have a look at it. Well, it was only just the high. I mean, they're one of the ones that are 50-50. You could easily let go.
Yeah, agreed.
And just to add some salt into the wound, there's another 50-metre penalties. And I tell you, there's been lots of infringements on players with free kicks and players taking marks held up. And that wasn't a serious one.
And 50 really is a huge call, because when you consider that trying to gain 50 on a day like today is pretty hard.
Kick was poor. A chance for Melbourne to repel. Chance for Agoni. Good shepherd off the ball from Thompson, who's fired up. Kick towards Kennelly, who marked strongly in front of Smith.
Did well. Stood his ground.
Playing, of course, his 50th game this afternoon. What a story it is, the Irishman. Fosdyke, sweeping handball is dangerous. Kressel somehow manufactured a handball to Seymour, but they'll turn it over. Whelan uses Johnson out wide, forced to concede ground. Ward, oh gee, that's an ordinary kick, a shocking kick. O'Keefe, O'Loughlin.
He's been the difference, this guy up forward.
Well, he's just having an influence in this term, Michael O'Loughlin.
Just sitting off the football, turning Cameron Bruce inside out. Very hard for a defender to know where a forward is when he's constantly on the move.
It was good reflexes by O'Keefe.
Yeah, but poor school error. Needed to go long. Get it out of your defensive half. Conditions are tough.
Michael O'Loughlin has kicked 2 today, with a season total of 38. And there's a great look at what confronts him. Oh, that is an absolutely superb kick. The Swans further in front of the G. So the Swans now extend their lead to 11 points. They've kicked the last 4 goals of the game. And Melbourne haven't kicked a goal since the 13-minute mark of the second quarter.
Yeah, and this was a skill error that really did hurt Melbourne. Clever kick there by O'Keefe. O'Loughlin, class act. It will be interesting to see the reaction of the Melbourne players now. They have been challenged.
It has been Sydney's quarter, and we've still got a fair way to go. It's an 11-point lead. Paul Roos be mighty happy with the way things are going now. It's taken first half of football to get them going, the Swans. A lot at stake for them. Thompson down, Ward and the Demons into attack. Neates dropped it on the way down. It's a free to Neates advantage. No, it'll come back. So David Neates with a chance to get one back. He has one in the game, and has certainly been starved of opportunities.
Well, he has, and just so important that David Neates kicks this goal. Melbourne yet to kick a goal this quarter. We just see that little tug across the shoulder. Been a tough day for forwards.
Last goal dates 13-minute mark of the second quarter, with 22 into the third quarter, so it's been over a quarter.
They've battled at the moment. Let's hope his kicking is up to scratch, as Neates will miss. But just when they were looking for a goal, much needed one. It's a nervous swig of the bottle from Neil Danaher, and they're up against it at the moment.
Doyle has come off the ground. Goods has gone back into the ruck.
Paul Williams has it at fullback. There's a look what's ahead of him. He chips it to Barry. He's able to run the full measure. Long towards Seymour, who's the target. Has done some good things in just his first game for the season, Brad Seymour.
Did well on that occasion, keeping the Melbourne player on the ball. He was hoping that ball will continue to travel and run.
They'd be happy to get it out of their defence, the Swans, out to centre wing.
He can play short and tall, Brad Seymour. He's a useful player to have in your defensive zone. Goods gets it down. Fosdyke, great spin out of trouble. Hacks it towards half forward. Look out, here comes big bad Barry. He's wrestled to the ground. No prior opportunity there, and we'll get a bounce.
Fosdyke 20 possessions, Benny Matthews 18. They are the players that have certainly given Sydney a big lift.
Scott Thompson had 16 possessions midway through the second term, has the leading possession winner for Melbourne, but he's only got 18, so he's had a quiet quarter, certainly in this quarter, in the second part of the second quarter. Uze kicks it towards half forward. Seymour hits Smith underneath the football, and boundary throw-in.
Just experience from Brad Seymour. Good use of the body, not trying to win it, not getting himself out of position.
See Doyle there on the bike, had a bit of game time.
He's challenging Lance Armstrong, Andy Marr.
Oh, mate, if he's not getting ready for the finals, he's getting ready for next year's Tour de France, that's for sure.
Boundary throw in. Big pack of players around the football, and again we'll get a bounce.
Just so important in defence that you do use that wind as your ally. Brad Seymour is doing that. No fuss football. Ball coming to ground. There he is on screen. Veteran for the Swans. He'd be a huge bonus if he's a part of finals football for Paul Roos. Ball will come down. Uze again. Didn't have it in the end. No, threw it, they said. Well, the umpire, Hayden Kennedy.
Be interesting to see that one again.
So Benny Matthews, here it is, Sauce.
Yeah, correct call.
Good call, good tackle too. Well rewarded. So Matthews waves the players back and he bombs it in. Hall, that's where he should be. Third man up to bring it down though for the Demons was Godfrey. Carroll can't pull himself clear. Roberts Thompson did well. Will get a ball up.
They've worked a lot harder this quarter, the Sydney forwards, keeping the ball inside their forward half. That's what Paul Roos would have asked at half time.
So ball's bounced, comes down. Roberts Thompson, hands and knees. Uze on the full. No.
Might have been already over, I think, Dakes, before he got boot the ball.
They need him firing. It's been pretty quiet.
Yep.
It's the ball to come in again, just forward of wing, just favouring ever so slightly the Swans. Hall and Jamal will go at it. It'll come down. Armstrong will run. He takes the Swans on and bangs inside, not really directing it, getting inside 50. In the back to Williams it is. And Leo Barry, he can ill afford to be arguing the point in this position.
Leo, can he? Cannot believe it. Searching back for the big screen just to try and review his tackle himself.
Be great to see the tackle again. Great takeaway that. Oh yeah,
he did try and turn him, but it was a free kick, no doubt.
So a chance for Luke Williams to kick a goal. Has played as a defender and he kicks a goal as a forward. Just what the Demons were after. Good finish from Luke Williams and the Demons get it back to 4 points.
Yeah, it all started from that takeaway. And it was Armstrong who got the ball in nice and quickly. We see the disappointment on Leo Barry. Cannot believe that, but I think it was a correct call.
He was conscious of it. He did try and turn him, but he just didn't quite execute it properly, did he?
The momentum.
He couldn't believe it. So some tempers just flaring up on the Sydney full forward line. Carroll and Hall squaring off.
Well, just need to hold their nerve. The Swans plays, they are playing in finals. There's no doubt that the Demon players will try and suck them in.
Oh, and there's a little pretend jab from Barry Hall. And I tell you, it looks like Nathan Carroll's quite happy just to stand toe-to-toe and take him on as well.
Maybe he got a bump on the head, Nathan Carroll, early in the game. This is the worst guy to be going at.
Well, he fancies his chances, and look at him. He's still going. He's having a dip, Nathan Carroll, and O'Loughlin just trying to clear him away from Barry Hall.
Has to hold his nerve here, Barry Hall. He will do this for the rest of the game.
Barry even scared me then.
Jamar gets it down. And
I'll say it as a joke. I think you mean it.
And just tempers, just going over the top a little bit here. Bosdyke handing the ball back.
Well, we've just got to focus on the football, the Demons, and I might be a little bit unfair because it could be the Swans there as well.
Goods over his head. Breen trying to get it towards Armstrong. Socket forward by Fosdyke, who's had a big quarter. Ward, got a bad bounce. O'Keefe pounced on the half opportunity. Kick around the body towards Sundquist. Oh, Whelan, you're in a heap of trouble. Kept his head. Well played. Gives it off towards Ward. Ward kicks towards half forward. Bizzle. Well played by Barry. Who will be first to recover? Johnston's first there, but the boundary line beats him.
Because he did well, Leo Barry. He had to make up a good probably 7 to 10 metres and was able to get fist the ball.
I think the Demons certainly shouldn't be kicking at a target when they're going into the forward line. Kick it over the head of a couple of players, let the ball run and try and get it in deep for another contest.
Goods, Kirk, the tackle coming, my Armstrong, Godfrey, not long to three-quarter time. Ferguson kicks it forward, vacant half-forward position. Well played Barry, the short ball as the three-quarter time siren sounds. And Sydney are able to assert their authority in that quarter, turning an 11-point deficit at half-time into a 4-point lead going into the final term. They kicked 3 goals to 1 in that quarter.
Yeah, much better quarter for the Swans, and we just saw Barry Hall there just having a few words to his opponent, but it's so important that he keeps his head. Does not need to get involved in any skirmishes, but the Swans, totally different play that quarter, Dakes. They certainly got it in a lot quicker, and I'm sure that Paul Roos would be a lot happier coming into the three-quarter tie break.
Yes, he certainly will. Well, a lot to play for this afternoon for the Sydney Swans, playing for a top 4 spot. They lead by 4 points at three-quarter time after trailing by 11 at the long break.
On Wednesday night, the man who hates Victorians. Oh, Neil Curley, supposed tough fella. Supposed to be South Australia's Ron Barassi, plus a man who loves Victorians. Eddie Whitten Jr.
Fox Footy's Grumpy Old Men. Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern.
Bring home the big game excitement with Harvey Norman's big screen deals. Save $1,000 on the Samsung 42-inch widescreen rear projection TV with bonus digital set-top box and bonus matching stand. Get the full effect with the Samsung 119cm widescreen rear projection TV with bonus digital set-top box $49.99 and the ultimate larger-than-life widescreen LCD rear projection TV $79.99 with bonus digital set-top box and bonus stand. Score big with these and more hot deals at Harvey Norman now.
Welcome to the Sheriff's Show!
A once-in-a-lifetime event. Collecting 6 Emmy Award nominations. The Farewell Concert Tour. Experience Cher in her farewell pay-per-view concert. Saturday, September 20. Call your service provider and book now.
Fox Footy is giving you the chance to win the couch from On the Couch, signed by Gerard, Mike and Robert. To enter, all you have to do is SMS your name, alternate phone number, email address and the word couch to 0427 436 689. And you could be sitting on the couch, courtesy of Fox Footy and Chesterfield Gallery.
Well, welcome back to the MCG, and Paul Roos just reinforcing to his players the importance of this match this afternoon. They lead by 4 points at three-quarter time, but gee, they've had some trouble. Melbourne led by 11 points at the long break, but Sydney were able to kick 3 goals 4 in that quarter. Michael O'Loughlin was the star. He has 3, Matthews 1, and well, it's all singles for the Melbourne side. Game notes, Melbourne really struggling up forward, and in that third term, Sydney certainly lifted. Well, let's have a look at fresh legs, and for the Sydney Swans, first of all.
Yeah, look, Roberts, Thompson, Sundquist and Doyle, all big guys, so they're looking for certainly a running ability of O'Keefe, who will probably certainly play as a forward. There he is on screen. And the other one is Brad Seymour, who had a good third quarter.
And we just see the Melbourne side there. Jamar is the one, the big tall. The other 4 are more so running players, and I'm sure they all get their opportunity in this last quarter.
Let's quickly go down to Andy Marr on the boundary lines.
Stewie Maxfield and John Longmire went straight up to Barry Hall at the huddle and just said, everything okay, just cool it, focus on the footy. Barry Hill gave them the nod of assurance that everything's okay. The wind down here has gone berserk. The temperature's dropped about 5 degrees from about 10 degrees at the start of the day. It is gusting all over the joint, but it's probably favouring the punt road end, the end of which Sydney are kicking in this last quarter.
Thanks very much, Andy. You look great in Hutto's suit this afternoon. Absolutely superb.
It's a beautiful fit.
I thought he was a bit squirty.
Final quarter almost to get underway. There's a look at how blustery it's been this afternoon at the MCG. It's made it very difficult, and particularly for the Sydney Swans, who really struggled to adapt in the first half. And if they're going to be a serious finals contender, they'll need to learn how to handle this MCG. The Swans by 4 points. Final quarter underway. Bounce favours Goods. He gets it down towards Kirk. Handball out wide, Maxfield. Kick partially smothered. Snyder will need to play on. He tried to get the quick handball away. That was ineffective. Goods, little fumble.
Did well.
Did very well. Gets it to Maxfield. Long inside, attacking 50. Carroll going back. Chance for Ward. Well played. He read the bouncing ball very well and delivers to Green at half back.
So Demons have it. Some early goals. Be dangerous. Loose ball. Hall with a chance for an early one. Hands to Nick Davis. There shouldn't be a problem, and there isn't. Early goal to the Swans. So they're starting to add up at the moment. The lead is out to 10 points, and Sauce, there could be a little bit of rain as this game wears on. The latter part of this quarter, but one more and it'll make it awfully hard for the Demons.
Well, the Melbourne players believing that should have been a free kick, but Barry Hall involved and Nick Davis kicks the goal, and a number of the Swans players got over to Barry Hall just to let him know that he did the right thing to lay that ball off.
Well, great start to the final term by the Swans. Where the ruckman touch it, Kirk again. Brought down, but he gets the kick away to half forward. Davis in front.
What a good day, Davis.
He is capable of kicking this because his kicking is fantastic, his finishing, and I think he's a sort of plays a smart football when going at goal, and I think he will allow for this. So this will give you an idea how good a kick at goal Nick Davis is.
Well, one thing he can be guaranteed, Nick Davis is a match winner.
In front, and the quick kick by Kirk. That's all you want as a forward.
Comes in, he'll kick from just outside 50. Oh, gee, it's a long kick. That's a superb kick from Davis. He's kicked two in the quarter. So some Nick Davis magic at the start of this final term has given Sydney their biggest lead of the match out to 16 points.
Yes, and well, the Swans players there on screen are delighted with the efforts of Nick Davis, but that set up the play, the quick kick by Kirk. Swan players in front. Davis was able to hold his player out with his body and, more importantly, kick this goal.
Well, it's all about finishing. It's all about putting it on the scoreboard, and since half-time, Sydney have been able to do that. They lead by 16. Goods down. Benny Matthews running back towards a Melbourne goal. Hands off. Leo Barry, another player who's certainly lifted. Over the ball, and we'll get a ball up.
Yeah, well, you have to question that decision. He did drag the ball back in, Leo Barry.
Just looking around this huddle as well, there's a couple of Sydney players with a little bit of room, and that was non-existent in that first half. It'll come down Matthews, not able to control it. Has been one of the better players on the ground, Benny Matthews, with Nick Fosdyke. And then you look at Kirk just sitting behind them, Goods, Jude Bolton, all their better players coming to the fore. So through the traffic, Thompson chips up, Neats, couldn't mark it. Loose ball, Kirk back there has spent a lot of time in defence mopping up. So they share it around. Now they've got it into the clear. Jude Bolton with a little bit of time. Will take a bounce and just bang it in. It's still on wing, Schneider. Ball may beat them all. Hall's out there and the ball over the line. So just over wing member side of the ground as the clouds starting to cover the G. At the moment, it's a 16-point lead, and you'd think at the moment, with the way the Demons are going, it may be enough for Sydney.
Well, historically this year, their final quarters have been very poor, Melbourne. Jamar gets it down. Rigoni, who's tried hard, tries to get it clear. Kennelly fighting with Walsh, and another bounce.
Uze just about to come off the ground, being replaced by McDonald.
Uze just 9 possessions this afternoon and a goal. It was an inspiring goal in the opening quarter, but he's been very quiet.
And Bizzle has been put up forward for the Demons.
Goods gets it down. Jamar, well done. Oh, he's had his one-arm pin. Umpire let it go. Creswell tried to get it towards Crouch. Walsh fighting hard, but another ball up. Well, there's just 25 minutes left in Melbourne's season, and I'm sure if you and Neil Danaher, you'd just be hoping that there'd be a real concerted effort as we look at that last tackle on Jamar, which really That should have been rewarded with a free kick. Goods gets it down. Creswell. Matthews now, little chip inside, attacking 50. Hall, and in the end forced to spoil. Beautifully done by Schneider. Pounced on the loose ball and kicks it behind. O'Keefe screaming for it in the goal square with a wry grin. But a behind only to Alan Schneider.
It was a good little spoil by Barry Hall. Just brought the ball to ground, what he needed to do, and he had the crummers.
So Johnston to bring it back short. Problem with this play, one of their better running players is back behind the football as Green moves forward around O'Loughlin. Needs to use it, no options, bangs it into the air, plays into the arms of the Swans. Seymour, third man up, thumped it down. Kennelly hugging the boundary and then goes over. So a boundary throw in. He shielded his true intention. Adam Uzo in the foreground. Started all right, kicked a big goal early. But like a lot of the Demons has fallen away. So Crouch slaps it out good. And that's how it was called. So free to the Demons. Chance to move forward. Comes back to Scott Thompson. In the middle of the ground. Walsh will mark. Turns quickly. Dummies a handball, then gives it. McDonald tried to give it a Bruce and then bangs in long. Neath should mark and does. So when he's back to the ball, Shawville lost it. Neath's eyes on it, able to just fall into it. 25 from goal, and this is a chance for the D's.
Yes, hasn't had a good day, David Neaths. You'd think if the Demons are going to have any shot at winning this game, he needs to kick it.
As we know, his kicking can let him down, David Neaths, but the skipper needs to put this one on the board. They need 6 points, and it comes back, a funny old kick, and he kicks a goal. Well, that's a bonus for the D's. Started off poorly, but the end result is what they were looking for, and the margin is cut back again to 11 points.
Yes, and a wobbly old kick, that one. Amazing how it got through, but David Neaths would be a little relieved that that one went through, but it certainly does allow the Demons to be within striking distance. Wobbly old kick.
Well, it gives the D's a chance. It's back to 11 points. Doesn't matter how they start off, it's more importantly how they finish, and Neath's able to put the 6 points on the board. Kennelly and the Swans into attack. It's out wide. The race is on, and O'Keefe and Ferguson can't keep it in. Boundary throw in, Swans into attack. Well earned rest for Nick Fosdyke.
Boundary throw in. Melbourne certainly still with a chance. Bolton in from the side. Armstrong couldn't control it. Bolton back on top of the football. Jude Bolton for the Swans, and we'll get another bounce just inside their attacking 50.
Well, we might have written the Demons off, but it's amazing what a goal can do, Sauce.
Well, next goal's so important for the Demons. You just think if they could get the next goal, it puts them within 5 points, and you never know.
Ward out of mid-air. Williams going back courageously. Thanks to Mark. Hand off to Goods. Long inside attacking 50. O'Keefe's got the sit. Couldn't take the mark. Oh, Schneider. How brilliant was that? Adam Schneider somehow manufactured a goal from nothing. He's kicked 2. And Sydney Swans now, you would think, have put this game beyond Melbourne's reach in a low-scoring game. Let's have another look at this.
Just fantastic.
Just turn. Little Harry Krul kick for goal.
Great.
He was held by Whelan, and that was well, absolutely sensational stuff from Schneider.
And let's not forget the Adam Goods kick to the top of the goal square.
Well, it proves the point. You don't have to take possession of the football, clear possession to be effective. Schneider with his second. It's back out to 17 points. And the Swans be looking to finish it off. It'll be pretty good to come off a pretty good win. Hasn't been an easy game for them, but for the Demons, just so important they do finish the season off. Another player deserving of a rest, Benny Matthews. The ball will come down. Jude Bolton, the Swans cut off. Jamar looks for a target. Too hard at Armstrong. Kirk around the corner. Green with the flight will take a mark. not paid in the end. So Thompson, and we will get a ball up.
Must have been touched, the green attempted mark.
So Godfrey looking for a man. Has a job on Creswell. So Hall down. Walsh cuts it off and then gave it up to Crouch and goes back in for a second effort. And another possession of the umpire. It's half forward. Swans into attack. Demons in the first half. Sydney have taken over. And as the game wears down, more importantly, look like coming out on top. But the Demons still giving a good account of themselves physically. Whelan will hand off. Ward just shrugs a tackle, and it's smothered by O'Keefe beautifully. Godfrey, where does he go? Handball's off Nathan Brown. Had to stop in his tracks to Thompson. Goes back into the traffic, dropped it in the end, and Sydney will take it.
Just can't understand why he tried to run around his opponent. All he had to do was get a quick kick out of the danger zone.
It's a hard one. So Nick Davis to take it. Barry Hall back in the square.
He could almost kick this, Davis.
We'll start from behind. It'll hang up. It's a goal. It is a goal.
Great call.
That is a big goal. Three goals for Nick Davis. He joins Mike O'Loughlin as the leading scorer for Sydney, and he has kicked some gems, all coming in this last quarter, and we still have plenty of football to play.
Well, we just see the bad choice by young Thompson there. He'll learn from that. But what an impressive kick this was from Nick Davis.
Well, that's gone 70 metres, Steve.
But more impressive was your call, Chriso.
Thanks very much. Oh, what a sensational goal from Nick Davis. Let's have another look at it. Point of the square he was at left half forward. That kick has gone 70 metres. And he's kicked his third goal for the final quarter. Jamar out of the centre. Magoni trying to get the handball away. He did, but Johnston was claimed immediately. So a secondary bounce. Nick Fosdyke, 21 possessions for him this afternoon for the Swans. As we look at Sydney domination of the handballs. Goods has been better in this second half, Adam Goods. And we get another bounce. Big pack of players around the football. Matthews and Fosdyke the leading possession winners for the Swans with 21. Kirk with 19. For the Demons, Thompson has 20. Whelan and Ward with 15 apiece. Kirk was another one for him. Jude Bolton now, wide of the pack, kick towards half forward. O'Keefe, good mark. Just slipped Ferguson. O'Keefe wastes no time. Long to the goal square. Loughlin's got the sit off. Well played by Bruce. There's a free kick, it'll go
against
Bruce for a push. And Ward gives it to Johnston, and Melbourne work their way out of trouble.
Well, just taking his time, Johnston, having to stop in his tracks. No targets up forward, no options, so he just bangs into the air and Neitz will mark. So the skipper to sink the slipper into it. Again, taking off before knowing who's around and what options he has to kick quickly. It's into half court. That's a strong mark. So Craig Bolton the mark. He's been superb this season. What a pickup. Can play on any size in defence. Short again, so Fosdyke has been excellent. Chips over the top. Leo Barry, uncharted waters further up the ground, which is better. Shawball will mark. So they've got it to half forward. And 22,969 people certainly would be happy with the game at the moment. O'Loughlin will mark. And they're witnessing the Swans starting to just wind this one up and put Melbourne away.
And we just see here Mickey O'Loughlin able to lose Cameron Bruce, but the Swans totally on top at the moment. They've had the last 5 inside 50, so they are certainly putting the Demon defenders under enormous pressure.
Well, he's been another player since half-time that has lifted, probably had more of a supply. The delivery has been a lot better, and the kick is a beauty. 4 goals to Michael O'Loughlin. But when you can finish like that, you deserve to win. In the tricky conditions, that's why he is this good. And Michael O'Loughlin can play football.
And it's amazing how that game can turn. Up until half-time, Sydney had only kicked 2 goals, but since half-time, they have kicked another 8. And this is one of the reasons why Michael O'Loughlin has played a exceptional game.
So the Swans have dominated this final term, 5 goals to 1. Lead now out to 29 points. Jamar gets it forward. Bizzle playing up forward now for the Demons. Can't control it. Bolton somehow got it to Barry. He's away. Look at the Swans run in numbers. Long inside attacking 50. O'Loughlin again. Almost a spectacular mark. Carroll took his time and got the kick away. And the numbers out at half back with the Demons. Rigoni. Johnston provides the Shepherd towards Neats at half foot. Couldn't he? His arm was held and he'll get a free kick as rain starts to fall here at the MCG. I knew Christy Malthouse was smart.
Where is she when you need her?
Neats has got it between wing and half forward for the Demons. Long inside attacking 50. Barry in good position, needs to be courageous now. Is that a mark to Thompson?
It's a great mark. Oh.
It's going to be a baller. Well, players looking disbelief. Let's have another look at umpire Kennedy. I probably think he made the right decision. Thompson and Barry, and, well, they had a piece of it each, didn't they?
Pretty good call.
It was a good call. Out of the pack, McDonald kicks a goal. James McDonald kicked a goal for Melbourne. So some late piece of good fortune there for Melbourne, and Melbourne fans enjoying the last few minutes of their side for season 2003.
Well, that's James McDonald's trade on this occasion, or his goal, was typical of Melbourne in that first half. Really very good in close. Their willingness, more importantly, to get involved, and James McDonald, it's a pretty good goal. So Mickey O'Loughlin, who still looks pretty sore. He's had a pretty good game. Excellent game when you consider the conditions. 4 goals, leading scorer on the ground. Won't be surprised if he comes off for a rest. Paul Roos have put him into cotton wool to save for next week. Start of a finals campaign. Ball into half forward. Hall starting to get a bit of ball. At least he's been involved. And Schneider will see it over the line. It's so important that the Demons do finish it off, Sauce. Play this game out. Swans making the changes. Doyle is back on the ground off screen, so is Roberts Thompson. Ball moving forward. Maxfield will see it over the line.
He's done a pretty good job, Carroll, Steve, on Barry Hall this afternoon. I've been very impressed with the way he's played.
No, he has. He's stuck to his task. He's taken it up to Barry Hall, but there's certainly a player that he's able to can develop in the next 12 months for the Demons.
So the ball again wrapped up. Walsh and Kennelly. One's able to just release Kennelly after half-time. Adam Goods, very good in that third quarter. Around the ground, general play. So Doyle there, standing start. Jamar could have got a free. Jude Bolton to Williams. Combines with Fosdyke. Williams knocked off the ball, off the ground. Well, Swans just getting it forward. That's all you can do. Carroll push. No. Loose ball will come down. Maxfield. Feet of his teammate and Bolton. Doyle will wind up and bang it inside 50. O'Keefe use of the body. Lets it run. Oh, did beautifully with Bizzle coming at him. 45 from goal. He's wrapped up. Hands up. Chance for Schneider on that right boot. Nick Davis is in the area. Sails over his and Ward's head, and we get a boundary throw-in.
A couple of great passages of play there. One was Maxfield, where he got hammered from behind but was able to release the handball, and the other, that man on screen, O'Keefe, who fought extremely hard to win the footy.
Ball will come in. Another scoring chance for Sydney. Doyle goes to ground. Chance for Schneider. Onto that left. No, hands off. Concedes ground of Benny Matthews. He'll just drop a little kick in, and they retain possession. Jared Crouch will go back. So they worked it well under a lot of pressure, and the Swans from about 45. Did well to fend off
He's
Schneider.
been a fine Schneider, hasn't he, this year for the Swans? Really gives them some bite and some class up forward.
And eventually, Chris O'Neill will turn to a player that'll kick his 30, 40 goals a season for him, which will be a huge bonus.
And more so that we actually thought he did a hamstring in that first quarter.
Did we, or was it the... That's a great finish again. They are finishing beautifully, Sydney. They're all starting to get their name on that goal-kicking list. Jared Crouch kicks a goal, and it was good lead-up play. Schneider providing. They used it well, and in the end, they will just hold on to it.
Yes, they've certainly taken control in this second half, the Sydney Swans, and have established themselves. That's why they're going to be playing in September. Just 10 minutes left in Melbourne season. Then they muster some last-ditch effort. Ragoni, who's tried hard, is wrapped up by a couple of Sydney Swans, Fosdyke and also Crouch. And we'll get a secondary bounce. Melbourne led by 11 points at quarter time, 11 at half time, but since then it's been all Sydney. Davis has been great in this final term. Fosdyke wrapped up by Ward and Walsh, and another bounce.
40-point turnaround since half time. Been very good, Sydney, to be able to just turn it on.
I think they've actually taken much of the game just to adjust to the conditions and the blustery wind that's really affected them in the opening half, particularly where they're shooting at goal. Godfrey backs it out wide. McDonald tries to trap it, can't control it inside the line, so another boundary throw in.
There's no doubt they played a different game plan after half time. They were a lot more direct. They ran hard when they had the ball, but more importantly, they got it in quickly, which enabled players like O'Loughlin and Davis to find a bit of room.
Doyle getting some valuable game time. Kirk trying to get it towards Crouch. He was brought down by Godfrey. Fosdyke between the legs. Thompson over the football. Good desperate play by Kirk. Forces it over the line.
Good play at Kirk. I mean, he did the job on Uze, and he's actually had 20 disposals today.
In that first half, the other thing the Demons were doing was stopping the ball in its tracks, and I think what Sydney have been able to do is, even with the pressure coming on, push that ball forward.
Third man up, Godfrey thumps it forward. Goods, as we get the 5-minute warning, hacks it towards half-forward Davis. That's a good creative handball to Williams. Sunquist now, where will he go? Fosdyke, beautifully tackled by Brown. O'Loughlin. Well, I think a bit of luck there. But O'Loughlin, as he's done for most of the afternoon, certainly the second half, he's played in front, and the kick with the pressure from Brown. As we look at this again, the lunge from Brown just forced the kick. I think Fosdyke was kicking for goal, but O'Loughlin was in the right place at the right time in front, and Michael O'Loughlin lining up for goal number 5. And well, he kicked 1 goal in the second term. This is for his 4th of the second half. Michael O'Loughlin directly in front. He pops it through. Another one to Sydney. So the margin now out to 35 points, and they're really asserting their authority on this match, Steve.
No doubt, and Michael O'Loughlin kicks his 5th goal. I think it's a match-winning display of footy, particularly in these conditions. And we just see Fosdyke dragged off his kick there, and O'Loughlin in front, and he makes the most of his opportunities.
Well, Michael O'Loughlin making sure that the start of their finals campaign is a good one. They're finishing off their preliminary rounds pretty well, the Swans. And their last 4 weeks of football hasn't been a good one, so the second half here has been terrific. We will get another bounce. So Canelli, they've all lifted since half time. They have Doyle, Fosdyke, Out of the middle, it's into the air, and a good mark. Barry Hall under rare times. Short, out in front of Lachlan.
Oh, hamstring.
Oh, no,
don't tell me.
Oh, Bruce Short.
Dear, that is a tragedy for Sydney. That is an absolute tragedy if he's done that.
So Walsh to wing. Wretched run for Sydney continues with injuries. They use it to Hall, onto Crouch, hands off again. Williams can go at goal. Football is wet, will go through the air. O'Keefe, good use, good mark. Good use of the body in the end.
I'll tell you what, Dace, I reckon O'Loughlin has really twanged this hamstring because he's in a fair bit of pain. Poor trainers assisting.
That could be his season right there.
Yeah.
Boy, talk about luck in football.
Let's have a look at it. Yeah, high up the right leg. Applause for Jared Crouch coming from the ground as we look at O'Loughlin's injury again.
It's just so disappointing, really. This fella was in sensational form today. 5 goals. It means so much to this Swans lineup. Let's just hope that it's not as serious as it looks.
Well, it's all about having your best players out there. And as O'Loughlin comes off, O'Keefe kicks a goal. Finishing beautifully as his teammates look on. Unfortunately, O'Loughlin comes off. 5 goals for Michael O'Loughlin. As you said, Sauce, match-winning performance.
Oh, no doubt. And you can just see the disappointment on his face. It's been a long season. Got off to the slow start. Carried an injury into this season. But that really is a disappointing sign for the Swans.
Yes, an absolute tragedy because, well, you'd think it's at least 3 weeks, which really means that unless they can make the grand final, the Swans won't be seeing much of Michael O'Loughlin. Devastating for Paul Roos. And as you said, Steve, let's just hope it's not as serious as it looks. 41 points now the margin. Jolly gets it forward. Armstrong, who's tried hard. Godfrey holds on to it for a long time. Too long. Gee, that was poor play. Gets a second chance. Kicks it towards goal. Shawball gets back and concedes it behind. So margin 40 points. Not long left in the match. Played nearly 28 minutes.
Gee, they've had a wretched run. Key forward, Ruckman, Jason Ball, and then a key defender in Saddington. Couldn't get any worse, or could it? Posdyke short. Jude Bolton will take it. Just hold it up. The Swans comfortable winners here. Big turnaround since half time, and Jolly sit back. One of the better Demon players has certainly tried. Hands off to Uze. Short. Green to load up and bang in. Needs a mark. Thompson will jump. Sandwiched by 2 players. Loose ball. McDonald bangs into the corridor. That'll come off, and Williams to sit underneath it to take a mark. Luke Williams played as defender, introduced into defence this season by Neil Danaher, finishing as a forward. Certainly showed a lot of promise this season. A good goal in that third quarter, much needed one. What's his finishing like now? It's into the air. Does it come around? It just gets in. Needs claps it through, and the Demons have one.
Well, clever kick here by McDonald. Saw Williams out on his own. He really hasn't had a great day. Only the 2 or 3 possessions, but a nice goal to finish off his day.
Well, it's typical of second half of football, just hit and miss, just bombing into the corridor. Comes off with Luke Williams. And a bit of a bonus for the Demons. He's bobbed up with 2 goals, got under the guard of the Swans, but the Swans in complete control.
Margin 34 points. Swans keeping their chances of a top 4 finish alive with this win this afternoon. And as we get a secondary bounce, they'll need Fremantle to defeat the West Coast tonight, and they'll also need Port Adelaide to defeat Adelaide to sneak into the top 4. From the bounce, Bolton has it, he's wrapped up, and another bounce. Umpire Kennedy calls for it. Free kicks pretty even over the day, 13 to Melbourne, 15 to Sydney. Sydney have dominated inside 50, particularly in the second half. They've got right on top Kirk, and another bounce, ticking up to 31 minutes final term. And it's been a disappointing season for Melbourne. Really, I think a lot of people, Steve, at the start of the season had them in their top 8, but they really haven't delivered.
Well, they haven't. There's no doubt that Melbourne supporters would be upset with their season, no doubt about that. But today's loss actually guarantees them a priority pick, so they certainly get a couple of early picks, which will help their future for the next couple of years.
Ward to Bruce, who scrambles it towards Neitz at half forward. He's got a bit of pace, David Neitz, through 50 metres. He unloads, kick across the face, bouncing into the pocket. Crouches first there, gets the handball, Robert Thompson, but that's it. Sydney have done what they had to do today. They came to the MCG and have defeated Melbourne by 34 points. Well, it was a big struggle for them. They trailed by 11 points at quarter time, 11 at half time. A good third quarter, they were in front by 4 at three-quarter time, and really in that final quarter showed the type of football that they've been playing for most of the year to run out winners by 34 points.
Yes, no doubt that Paul Roos would have been disappointed with the Swans' first half, only the 3 goals, but after half-time they kicked 11 goals and they were led by Michael O'Loughlin, whose late injury certainly will be a concern for the Swans, but overall a pretty solid performance for the Swans, and they can go into this final series knowing that they take a win in and they should go in with a bit of confidence.
Let's go down onto the ground. Andrew Mars with Ty Kennelly.
Thanks very much, Michael. Well, congratulations first on the win, and the win for a milestone game.
Yeah, it's always good to get a win, I suppose. Milestones, I don't really take much notice of it, nor does anyone else. I think once you get the win, it's satisfying then.
Made 50 games for a bloke of your origins. It's some sort of effort.
Yeah, I don't know. I just keep working at it and just keep playing. The games keep ticking over. You know, and the longer I play, the better and more experience I get at the game. And
you guys are giving yourselves a real chance at the top 4 now. That was obviously the prime objective when you came out here today.
Definitely, and I think you know people were talking about other results, but you know we came out here and do what we can do. There's nothing else we can do about other results, you know, and that's why I say go out and win, and that's all we did.
It seemed to take you a little while to get into your stride today as a team.
Yeah, it did. I think we didn't work that hard again in the first quarter. It's something we got to work on, and you know we got to crack down on and start getting out of the blocks early. But you know we keep working at it and working. That's the way our team is. We keep working at it, and Melbourne kind of eventually cracks.
That seemed to be the message that Roosie gave you at quarter time and three-quarter time. Certainly, was that what he said to you at half time as well? Stress the get into the contest and win those.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much just get numbers around the ball and just get in there and win it. You know, and don't be running ahead of the football, and just get in there and win it and win hard balls.
And just quickly, did your heart sink a little bit when you saw Mickey O'Loughlin go off there at the end?
Yeah, it's a bit. Hopefully he's all right. You know, you never know, but it didn't look too good, did it?
Congratulations, mate. Good luck next week. Back to you, Michael.
Thanks, Andy. Ty Kennelly, of course, playing game number 50 as we watch the Sydney Swans make their exit from the MCG, and they're just going across to their supporter group and just honouring what they'd quite in the first half, Steve, in terms of the Sydney fans, but they certainly found some voice in the second half as Melbourne trudged from the MCG for the final time in season 2003. And Sydney, well, let's talk about for them for a moment. O'Loughlin, that is just a tragic loss. If in fact what looked to have happened, he looked to have pulled his right hamstring quite high up, and that's a tragedy for them.
Oh, no doubt. There's you can just see the disappointment on a lot of the Swans' faces. They know he's such an important player of this team. But there's no doubt also that Paul Roos needs to make sure that these players stay positive and stay on top of their game, and he's got to have complete confidence with the group he's got available going in this final series. And if Mickey O'Loughlin's able to get up for 1 or 2 finals, that's great. But his faith needs to be with the group of players that he has available.
Well, they're in the top 4, the Sydney Swans, as we speak, but they need to rely on Port Adelaide defeating Adelaide and Fremantle defeating West Coast to stay in the top 4. But they did what they had to do today, the Sydney Swans. They struggled early, but they came out in the second half and they defeated Melbourne by 34.